Naruto God Level System, Chapter 721 to 740. Chapter 721 It's over. Old Man Yamamoto, do you want me to help? Chen shouted to Old Man Yamamoto. The Old Man Yamamoto, who was suffering from a headache, glanced at Chen, and then snorted coldly, asking him to ask for help without even thinking about it. I can solve it without the intervention of Captain Hyuga, the Old Man Yamamoto said stubbornly. Actually, the real Rukia is here, she is not Rukia. Chen suddenly said to the Old Man Yamamoto. The Old Man Yamamoto was stunned. In fact, without Chen, he also suspected that the person in front of him was not Rukia. After all, Rukia also knew Akatsuki a little, so it was impossible to have such a strong strength. Do you know the identity of the other party? The Old Man Yamamoto couldn't help but ask Chen. It has something to do with Yuhabak. Chen directly gave Yuhabak a black pot, and the pot was handed over to him. Humph, are you fooling the old man? Yuhabak has been sealed by the old man. The Old Man Yamamoto snorted coldly. It's just that he was sealed, and he didn't die, Chen Tan said with a hand. The Old Man Yamamoto was silent for a while, and he believed Chen's words in his heart. After all, Yuhabak's methods were very powerful, and the Old Man Yamamoto was also very jealous of him. It was a fluke to be able to deprive Yuhabak of his strength, consciousness, and heartbeat at the beginning. This Old Man Yamamoto didn't know if Yuhabak had anything left. Rukia suddenly turned around and attacked Chen. Broken Road 88, Flying Dragon Strikes Thief, Thunder Cannon. Boom! A powerful explosion sounded, and then everything returned to nothingness. Anything in a straight line was destroyed by the light released from Chen's hand. In the perception of Old Man Yamamoto, the Reiatsu of Rukia has completely dissipated, indicating that he is dead. Don't think that the old man will be grateful to you, the Old Man Yamamoto said lightly. I don't need your gratitude either. Chen shrugged and said, if Old Man Yamamoto knew that he did all this, he would definitely draw his sword and tear his face. Now there is another Aizen waiting for you to solve. Chen's eyes turned to Aizen, who tried his best to eliminate his sense of existence. At this time, Aizen is really not the opponent of Old Man Yamamoto. Even if there is a Zanpakuto like Kyoka Suzuki, he may not be able to beat Old Man Yamamoto. Captain Yamamoto. Aizen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and now Aizen looks a little embarrassed. Aizen, I didn't expect you to betray the Soul Society. The Old Man Yamamoto looked at Aizen solemnly, and he could hear the old man's anger in his voice. Originally, Aizen was polite and gentle, and Old Man Yamamoto had a pretty good impression of Aizen. In other words, the captain of Gote 13's team basically had a good impression of Aizen. His betrayal was indeed surprising. Because you never knew me, Captain Yamamoto, Aizen said lightly. Although the current situation is very bad for Aizen, Aizen is still so calm and completely calm. Then I want to know, what is your purpose in Aizen? The Old Man Yamamoto asked. He wanted to know why Aizen wanted to betray Soul World, and Soul World didn't feel sorry for him. And Ichimaru Silver and Tosenyao, why did they too betray with Aizen? It's just a different way, we're going to take a different path, and I'm different from you. Aizen said indifferently. Aizen wants to transcend the boundaries of the God of Death, wants to create Wangjian, and then hit the Lingwang Palace to pull the Lingwang down. Old Man Yamamoto, why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up and hack him to death. My barrier can't hold up anymore. Don't let this guy run away. Chen shouted to the Old Man Yamamoto, and at the same time the barrier shook. The barrier that was full of energy seemed to become unstable. Aizen looked at the barrier, and then looked at Chen with a smile on his face, his brows slightly wrinkled. He should have done it on purpose. Deliberately making the barrier unstable. Does he want to let me go? Lan Ran has a lot of thoughts in his heart. He still doesn't know Chen's purpose, but he also knows that Chen must not have any good ideas. But now he still retreats first. Bengyu is already in his hands. Aizen knows Hyuga-chan's powerful pervert, but he doesn't believe that he is not an opponent after having Bengyu. The old man Yamamoto shot at Aizen instantly, and Ryujin Jaka chopped down at Aizen's head. The old man Yamamoto used to be known as the ghost of the sword, indicating that his swordsmanship is also very strong, and Aizen was blasted out with one blow. Feeling the difference in strength, Aizen was silent, and Yamamoto Motoryu Saijokuni was worthy of being the commander-in-chief. Captain Yamamoto, we have to say goodbye. From the moment the barrier disappeared completely, a ray of light enveloped Aizen, Ichimaru Silver, and Tosen. This is Daxu's anti-membrane. You are still in the company of Shu. The old man Yamamoto held Zanpakuto tighter. Oh, Captain Yamamoto doesn't know yet. Captain Hirako and the others have fallen into nothingness, but I actually did it. Aizen said lightly. Hyuga-chan, I look forward to meeting you next time. The next time we meet will be when you die. There is only one king in this world. Because of the reflective film, Aizen seemed to be arrogant. This coercion is a bit arrogant. Do you want to hack him to death? Chen rubbed his chin and thought, thinking about it, let him pretend to be coercive for a while. Anyway, this is the last time he pretended. After Aizen has produced a complete collapse jade that has no value, it is estimated that it will not be a few months before he dies. No one stood in the sky from the beginning, whether it was you or me, not even God. But the empty window of the throne of the sky is coming to an end, and from now on, I will stand at the top. You are so arrogant, you have no confidence in your eyes. This makes me very embarrassed. Chen slowly pulled out Zanpakuto. It's okay to let you pretend to be a coercion, but you can't stop pretending. How can this let you go? After entering the anti-membrane, he is already in another dimension, you can't attack him. The old man Yamamoto cast a glance at Chen and said. That's because you are too weak, so you can't attack. Chen stroked forward. Aizen's body, which is now in another dimension, was cut with a deep wound. I want to kill you. It's really just a matter of raising my hand, but I don't want you to die now. I hope you don't make yourself uncomfortable. If you make me unhappy, I will make you even more unhappy. Chen said indifferently. Lan Ran stopped talking. Sure enough, now is not the time to pretend, so she can only hold back, and her hatred for Chen has risen to a higher level. Soon Aizen, Ichimaru Silver, and Tosen asked the three of them to leave the Soul realm and go to the virtual circle, and the old man Yamamoto could only watch like this. Originally, the old man Yamamoto wanted to question Chen why he didn't keep Aizen, but thinking that he couldn't take Aizen with his own shots, he didn't have the face to question. Chapter 722 Go to Lingwang Palace. After Aizen left Soul realm, Chen took Rukia away. He just came to watch the fun. Now that the show is over, what are you still doing here? The old man Yamamoto couldn't leave, he had to deal with the situation on the scene, and the captains of each division were still in a coma. What a big momentum before. Old man Yamamoto is using Bankai again. Chen had just returned to the fourth team's quarters, and Yi ran over to ask. Fortunately, the barrier set up by Chen in the fourth team blocked the powerful heat wave. Yeah, old man Yamamoto has made a big move again, but it doesn't matter. Teacher, how are Ichigo Kurosaki and the others? Inoue Oriheim asked Chen. It's not dead, but it seems to be badly injured. What should I do now? Rukia looked embarrassed. Anyway, it's not you who seriously injured the captains of the divisions before, so you can do whatever you want. Chen Tan said with a hand. Rukia still had a tangled expression on her face. But I am still a sinner. What sinner? Now that the people in the 46th room in the center are dead, what sin do you have? Now that Aizen has defected, I'm afraid the soul world can't take care of you anymore, plus Chen's tossing, let alone ignore you. Rukia, don't worry. Ujawali said with a smile. Indeed, in the next few days, I did not pay attention to Rukia's affairs. Aizen's defection was one of the most important things, as well as Yuhabak's affairs. Chen threw the black pot into Yuhabak. The key is that old man Yamamoto believed it, and the pair of Yuhabak had to be guarded. But now Yuhabak is already a bear commander, and there are only Bombietta, Candace, and Menina left in the Star-Crossed Knights, but they are now Chen's people. Those who were killed by Chen had nothing left, and even if Audiobook launched the sanctification, they could not be resurrected. Ichigo Kurosaki and the others were fine. In the end, Old Man Yamamoto forgave Ichigo Kurosaki and the others for breaking into the Soul Society, and Ichigo Kurosaki became the proxy death god recognized by the Soul Society. Kurosaki, Ichigo and the others returned to this world, but Inoue Oriheim did not leave with them. Oriheim, why don't you come back to the world with them? Rukia asked curiously. That, Inoue Oriheim glanced at Chen without saying the reason. I'm going to the Lingwang Palace. Chen said to Maojawali and the others. What are you going to do at Lingwang Palace? Yi Yi asked curiously. Go and scavenge for some good things. I've been interested in it for a long time, but I haven't picked it up. Chen thought of the Zanpakuto made by Wang Yu. Do you need me to go with you? Chong asked Chen Chong. No, I can go by myself. Chong, you should stay here and play with Bachinliu. Chen stroked Chong's hair and said. Using Yomatsu Hirasaka, open a dark space cave, and Tatsu walked straight in. Crossed Yomatsu Hirasaka and came directly to Lingwang Palace, without disturbing anyone in the process. Shutara Senjumaru's palace, Chen appeared directly here. After Shutara Senjumaru saw Chen appearing, she was stunned for a while, and then she looked surprised. Master came to Lingwang Palace. Did you come to see me specially? Shutara Senjumaru asked expectantly. Part of the reason. Chen looked at Shutara Senjumaru looking forward, and didn't say that he was here mainly for Zanpakuto. Master, drink tea. Shutara Senjumaru asked Chen to sit down, and then hurriedly poured the tea. Shutara Senjumaru was cast Koto Amatsukami by Tatsu before, so now it becomes Allegiance Tatsu. Senjumaru, how do you know about Ermea Wangyu's Phoenix Hall? The master told me to pay attention to Ermeu Wangyu before, so this is his treatment. The master has a look. Shutara Senjuan put the information in front of Chen. Chen looked at it and saw that in addition to the two Wu Wangyu, the Phoenix Hall was his personal guard, as well as a large group of non-personal guards. These guards are the materialization of Zanpakuto, and the same is true for those who are not guards. As for how many, Shutara Senjumaru does not know, but it is definitely more than 10,000. The two Wu Wangyu should also be the strongest in the Zero Team. Although it is said that the Zero Team has no one other than the big monk who can fight, in fact, the two Wu Wangyu are quite powerful. In the original book, he killed several members of the guards of Audiobook in seconds. Is the master going to attack him? That's right, he has so many Zanpakuto. If I don't rob him, I'm sorry he created so many Zanpakuto Zero. Being stared at by Chen, this is also the bad luck of that guy. Then I'll help too, Shutara Senjumaru said. Shutara Senjumaru is still capable, at least stronger than most of the captains. No need, it's easy to solve the two House Wangyu. Chen shook his head and said. But there is also Kirin Temple Tenshiro, and the main army Ibe. The two of them are also very strong, especially the main army Ibe. Shutara Senjumaru's expression was slightly solemn. The head of the army, Ikibe, is the leader of their Zero Division, and his strength is unfathomable. If the master takes action against the two House Kings, they will definitely besiege the master if they sense it. The master may not be able to do it alone. I think it's better to let Ujawali and the others come together. Shutara Senjumaru proposed to Chen. Even if they go together, it's nothing, I want to see the strength of the main army Ikibe. Chen Qing smiled and said, Chen really wanted to see the strength of the army's main army, a soldier, but Habak, the friend of the original book, suffered a lot in his hands. That's fine, but I want to follow you, master. Shutara Senjumaru nodded helplessly. Let's go, take me to the Phoenix Palace. Chen nodded, and then let Shutara Senjumaru lead the way. The spiritual sons of the Spirit King Palace are very rich, and they are much stronger than the virtual circle. If you practice here, you should get 4.2 times the effort with half the effort. The Phoenix Palace is a little far from Shutara Senjumaru's palace. Chen looked at the Lingwang Palace. Actually, the Lingwang Palace is not very good. It's too empty, and although there are constructions, there are no people on the street. Soon after arriving at the Phoenix Hall of Wangyu, Shutara Senjumaru asked Chen, "Master, should we go in directly or sneak in?" Of course it's going indirectly. It's a shame to sneak in, not to mention the mere 2 Wangyu, just a small trash fish. Chen didn't pay any attention to the mighty Zero Squad, and it was just trivial to use his strength to beat 2 Wu Wangyu with one hand. Okay, Shutara Senjumaru was a little helpless. She wanted to sneak in and kill the 2 House Wangyu sneakily first, which would be easy. But since Chen had already decided, she naturally obeyed Chen's meaning. Chapter 723 Facing Team Zero. As soon as he entered the Phoenix Hall, Chen was discovered. There were countless Zanpakuto in the Phoenix Hall, and they were all materialized. "Lord Dajisho, why are you here? Who is this man?" "I don't need you to care who I am." Chen Yi waved his hand and killed her directly. He wanted was Zanpakuto, not the materialized ones. He walked over to see one and the other, so it was impossible for Wang Yu to hear such movements. 2 Wang Yu came out and saw that the Zanpakuto made by himself were materialized, and now they were being killed one by one. Naturally, he was inexhaustible. "You're courting death." 2 Wu Wang Yu, who was angry, didn't talk nonsense. She pulled out the knife and thought of Chen Zan. "The speed is good, but unfortunately the strength is too weak." Chen looked at Zanpakuto, who was parked in front of him, and there was a transparent spiritual shield in front of him. Failing to split the spiritual power shield, the 2 Wu Wang Yu took a few steps back, and then took out the sheath 06V that was placed in the carry-on case. The scabbard is a failed work created by the 2 House Wang Yu. Because it is too sharp to make a scabbard, it is regarded as a failure. However, Chen felt that this guy was pretending. How could he not be able to make a scabbard, and the scabbard and the blade would not touch each other? How could he not be able to make it? "This sword is called Sheath Fu. It is a failed work I made. Although it is sharp and tough enough, it cannot make a suitable scabbard." Listening to Wang Yu's self-introduction, with a pity on his face, but Chen clearly saw his pride in his eyes. "I'll beat you to death, you pretending criminal." Chen couldn't take it any longer, and slapped the 2 Wu Wang Yu in the face. Snapped. After the crisp sound, what caught my eye were the swollen faces of the 2 House Wang Yu, which were really ugly. The scabbard in his hand was snatched by Chen with one hand, and he waved it in his hand, and a sword chi slashed open 2 Phoenix Halls of Wu Wang Yu. "Yes, it is indeed sharp enough, but that's all," Chen said, looking at the sheath in his hand. "Give me the scabbard and return it." Mei Wu Wang Yu shouted angrily, covering her face. "It's impossible to give it back to you. I'm here for robbery, so I'm sorry," Chen said lightly. He came here to rob, how could he return what he got? "If you hand over all your Zanpakuto, I can actually spare your life." "You came to rob me of Zanpakuto, Shutara Senjumaru, you are with him too." Mei Wang Yu's eyes were full of anger as she looked at Shutara Senjumaru. "That's right, the master sees the Zanpakuto you created, it's your honor, don't be ignorant." Shutara Senjumaru looked at the 2 House Wang Yu indifferently. "Master, you actually called him master?" Mei Wu Wang Yu looked at her incomprehensibly. "If I'm not mistaken, you seem to be the captain of the 4th Division, Hyuga Chen." Mei Wu Wang Yu turned to look at Chen. "Yo, I didn't expect you to know me. Yes, I'm Hyuga Chen." Chen chuckled and nodded. Of course Wang Yu of Meiwu knew Chen. After all, the head of the army, Ibe, also advocated that Chen should be invited to Team Zero, but unfortunately it was rejected. At that time, Wang Yu of Meiwu was also curious about the person who refused the invitation of Team Zero, so he also paid attention to Chen at that time. "Shutara Senjumaru, have you forgotten that your allegiance is to the Spirit King?" Meiwu Wang Yu asked. "Ha, allegiance to the Spirit King, do you have great respect for the Spirit King? Does an item require allegiance?" Shutara Senjumaru said with a sneer. Although Team Zero said they were protecting the Spirit King and being loyal to the Spirit King, they said it was okay to protect the Spirit King. After all, the Spirit King was too important, but allegiance. Allegiance shit. The two House Wang Yu remained silent. I won't talk nonsense with you, it's the most important thing to get rid of you and take Zanpakuto. Chen Yidao slashed towards the two House Wang Yu. How could Wang Yu of the two houses be caught without his hands? His body quickly retreated, and then he turned and ran away. Ermewu Wang Yu is not stupid, he knows that this person in front of him is very powerful, and he is not an opponent at all, so he retreated to find the soldier's main department, Ikibe. Watching him escape, Chen didn't chase after him. Zanpakuto was the most important thing, and this guy would come to his door after a while. After entering the Phoenix Hall, Chen put away all the Zanpakuto. There are tens of thousands of Zanpakuto, and I don't know how long it took Wang Yu to build so many Zanpakuto. The next step is to wait for them to come. After Chen put away Zanpakuto, he stood at the highest point of the Phoenix Hall and waited for the two kings to come back. Shutara Senjumaru thinks it is better to retreat now, but Chen wants to stay here, so she can only wait. Senju Pill, don't worry. Chen looked back and said. The real name of the monk is very powerful, no one has seen his full strength. Shutara Senjumaru shook his head and said. Similarly, no one has seen my full strength. Chen chuckled lightly. Soon, the head of the army, a soldier, who is the real name of the monk, came, accompanied by two Wang Yu and Kirin Temple Tenshiro. Kirin Temple Tenshiro's plain head, two weird punk headshots of the House King, and a bearded monk. This dress is really weird. If you can't beat it, you will be called a person. The sword god Ermewu Wang Yu is really good. Chen looked at Ermewu Wang Yu mockingly. Ermewu Wang Yu held back her anger and waited to see how to deal with you after she caught you. By the way, your Zanpakuto have been taken away by me now. Chen said to Wang Yu of Ermewu. Damn it, my work. Tuwu Wang Yu clenched her fists and stared at Wu Yu angrily. Hyuga Chen, how did you come to the Lingwang Palace? Shutara Senjumaru brought you here. Asked the real name monk. The Lingwang Palace is in another space, and it is not easy to enter it, otherwise Aizen would not want to enter the Lingwang Palace towards the creation of Wang Jian. It doesn't matter how I got in, but I would like to see your strength. Chen looked at them lightly. In fact, among them, the real name called the monk to be able to see a little, and the others did not even look at them. Although the two House Wang Yu killed Yuhabox guards in seconds in the original book, they still couldn't keep their eyes open. It's okay to call him a monk in his real name, and he almost killed Yuhabok in the original book. This guy's Zanpakuto is very powerful. With a single word, he can kill the name but not the meat. He can attack the opponent and reduce the opponent's strength by half. Monk Yan, don't say anything more to him, take him down first, and Shutara Senjumaru also take it down. Kirin Temple Tenshiro said solemnly. Real name called the monk nodded. No matter how Hugachin came to the Lingwang Palace, let's deal with him first. Chapter 724 The two kings of the house are dead. Chen stood at the highest point, looking down at the three monks whose real names were called monks. This kind of small momentum, don't let it out to shame. Chen's body erupted with an Asura-like murderous aura, turning the surrounding into an Asura hell. Looking at the mountain of corpses in front of him, and the sea of blood under his feet, there are still corpses floating in the sea of blood, and a bloody aura is coming. The sea of blood set off a boundless wave of blood, and the three of them were swept toward the real name of the monk, and the boundless wave of blood was about to swallow them. No, it's demonic illusion. The real name called the monk shouted, and the big brush in his hand quickly wrote a solution. After the real name was written by the monk, demonic illusion was unraveled at once, and everything returned to its original appearance again. Kirin Temple Tenshiro and Ermewu Wang Yu had cold sweats on their faces, and the boundless sea of blood just now seemed to bury them in it, and they had fear in their hearts just now. Just relying on murderous intent, you can form an illusion. How many people have you killed? The real name called the monk's eyes serious. He didn't take Chen seriously at first, but now he feels this murderous aura like a purgatory shira, and his vigilance has been raised to the highest level. Well, I can't even count them, but your Zanpakuto is quite powerful. Write a word and you can break the illusion. Chen looked at his Zanpakuto with interest. Dye it black. One word. Real name called the monk to liberate Zanpakuto, and then slashed towards Chen. The tip of the brush at the front turned into a blade and slashed towards Chen. However, his knife went through Chen's body and failed to hit Chen at all. Now that I'm in a different space with you, it's impossible for you to hit me, Chen said after using Kamui. His real name, Monk Hu, frowned. He actually has this ability. Now it's hard to do. He hasn't found a way to deal with it, so he's very passive. But Chen wouldn't give him so much time to find flaws. 80 God's vacuum attack. Countless vacuum fists hit the real name, the monk, without a trace of escape. This is a merciless fist of attack and defense, and every punch is a surefire blow. Not even a space for a mouse to escape. Boom. The space was shattered, the entire Lingwang palace began to shake, and the attacked monk, whose real name was called, was smashed into the depths of the ground and was dying. As expected of the master, he is really strong. Shutara Senjumaru's eyes were filled with admiration, and the original worries were completely put down. No, I don't know what happened to him. You block it first, and I'll go take a look first. Kirin Temple Tenshiro shouted to Ermea Wang Yu. Kirin Temple Tenshiro's strength is not as good as Ermeu Wang Yu, so he can only block him, and the real name of the monk also needs him to be rescued. Okay, but hurry up, I'm not an opponent. Ermeu Wang Yu was also able to recognize himself, he knew that he was not an opponent. I must block it. If the real name of the monk dies, we will really be finished. Kirin Temple Tenshiro said solemnly. Because the real name of the monk is the strongest among them, and only he can kill Hyuga Chen, if the real name of the monk hangs up, everything will be over. Of course, it's not so easy to die when the real name is called monk. This guy also has the ability to resurrect, and can be resurrected by someone calling his name. The only downside is that he will also lose some of his power after resurrection, which is also the price. You can't stop me, this is courting death. Chen got down from the almost destroyed Phoenix Palace and walked towards the two-house Wang Yu step by step. Walking with supreme momentum, the two oppressed Wang Yu lowered her head. Damn, why is this guy's spiritual pressure so strong? Ermeu Wang Yu half knelt down, struggling to resist the pressure brought by Chen. This time, don't talk about blocking it, it's good to be able to hold on for a while without being killed. Kirin Temple Tenshiro came to the big pit, looked at the dying monk who was beaten, and hurriedly treated him. This Zanpakuto should be your favorite, Chen said, holding the sheath in his hand. Although you didn't make a scabbard, I did make a scabbard. A scabbard appeared in Chen's hand, and then inserted the scabbard into it. 2 Wang Yu's old face and 1 Yuhi, okay. In fact, he can also make a scabbard, but he wants to pretend to be forceful, so he deliberately says that he can't make a scabbard. However, this Zanpakuto is indeed sharp, and the ordinary scabbard is indeed not suitable. The sharp breath it exudes can pierce everything. You will die under this knife. Chen pulled out the knife, and then chopped down toward the 2 Wang Yu. Being oppressed by the spiritual pressure, the 2 Wang Yu had no resistance at all, and could only watch the knife cut down at him. After the knife was cut off, Wang Yu of the 2 houses completely lost consciousness, and his body was cut in half by the sheath he made. After finishing the 2 house Wang Yu, Chen looked at the real name monk who had been driven into the ground. At this time, the real name monk who had recovered. It seems that Kirin Temple Tenshiro's reply is indeed very powerful. The injury is so serious, but it can be healed. Chen looked at the real name called the monk and said. You killed 2 Wang Yu. His real name called the monk with anger in his eyes. Don't feel angry, I'll send you to accompany him soon. Chen looked indifferently at the real name of the monk. It's really a white pen and a word. The so-called real fight is the current Bankai. It was not called Bankai before, but it was called real fight. immediately rushed to Chen, and then used the ability of a white pen to write a word, trying to erase Chen's real name. But it was useless, his Zanpakuto ability seemed to be ineffective. So it's like this. The real name of the monk was Frowning. He wanted to erase Chen's name and engrave a new name on him. But it didn't have the slightest effect, and his ability seemed to have lost its effect. Chen sneered, his Gao Tianyuan can be immune to any attack, including the ability of an additional state that is not a direct attack, he is also immune. With this pervert's pupil technique, he is invincible, and it is strange that Zanpakuto, whose real name is called a monk, really works. I'm afraid you'll never know about this, go to hell and ask. Chen said lightly. Zanpakuto, which had only sharpness, and took out a knife again without worry. By the way, I've drawn so many Zanpakuto before, but I haven't used it yet. Chase him, wolves. Zanpakuto in his hand turned into two silver-white guns and appeared in Chen's hand, which felt very comfortable. A gun was aimed at the real name of the monk, with a cruel smile on his face, and a powerful virtual flash was shot out. The real name of the monk was blown away, with slight scars on his body. Chapter 725 Team Zero is destroyed. Infinite reload Phantom Flash. Countless phantom flashes were like violent storms, hitting the real monk called Monk. The real name, Monk Hu, looked at the countless phantom flashes that came over, and he didn't dare to make a hard connection. He hurriedly used a white pen to write a word of defense, and a defensive shield appeared in front of him immediately. From here, you can see that Zanpakuto, whose real name is called a monk, is very powerful. As long as he writes a word, he is also a bug-level Zanpakuto. Tian Chilang, I can't stop it, get out of here quickly. After resisting for a while, the real name called the monk felt unbearable, and hurriedly reminded Kirin Temple Tenshiro to let him leave quickly. Real name of the monk and Kirin Temple Tenshiro used Shunpo to dodge immediately. Just after dodging, countless virtual flashes bombarded the place into nothingness. Do you two want to run away? Chen looked at the two people who were running away in the distance. The two pistols in his hands suddenly turned into a sniper rifle, and Chen aimed at Kirin Temple Tenshiro. Wang Shu's flash. Boom. Kirin Temple Tenshiro was blasted into powder by Wang Shu's flash, and the Reiki completely disappeared. Wolf packs are really fun. Chen looked at the sniper rifle assembled in his hand. If you let Stark see it, he will be shocked. The wolves can still play like this in 260. Feeling the disappearance of the spiritual pressure of Kirin Temple Tenshiro, the real name of the monk called the monk's face sank. It seems that Kirin Temple Tenshiro is dead, and he must ask Yamamoto Shigekuni for help. Do you still want to run? Chen's figure disappeared instantly, and then appeared in front of the real name of the monk. In the original book, the real name called the monk is also the character who hangs and beat Yuhabak. If Yuhabak was not omniscient and omnipotent, he would definitely have been beaten to death by this great monk. 1,000-mile palms. The real name called the monk to use his spiritual power to release a huge palm and hit Chen. The golden wheel is reborn. The golden lightsaber slashed into the sky, and any object was cut in half, and the entire Lingwang Palace was slashed open by Chen's golden reincarnation. The real name of Monk Hu's eyes widened, and then his body split in half and burst open. Did he just die like this? I'll give it a try and see if he can be resurrected after he dies. Chen chuckled, and then shouted, Ikibe, the head of the army. The real name called the monk to be resurrected again, and he can be resurrected by someone calling his name. This ability is very pervert. It is difficult to do in the fantasy world. Do you know my abilities? The real name monk who saw that Chen was not surprised, and immediately knew that the other party was aware of his abilities. But very few people know his ability, even Shutara Senjumaru doesn't know. How did he know? I'm about to die, and I'm still asking so many questions. It's better to just wait for death to come. Chen said indifferently. Do you really think that you must eat me? The real name of the monk called him, frowning, and then said. Yes, anyway, in my eyes, you are no different from a dead person. Do you think you can kill me? The real name of the monk is frowning. Although he is not an opponent, it is even more difficult to kill him. Do you think that if you have the ability to resurrect, you can be resurrected infinitely? If I kill you, can you still be resurrected? Chen said with a cold smile. Twilight, dark night, please come and visit tilde let's meet and drink a bowl tilde drink this bowl and fly away tilde on the way to Huang Izumi. There are flowers of their own, blooming to accompany you. The real name called the monk while singing and drinking ink, trying to use his strongest move to not turn taishelling. This is the strongest move of the real name call monk, but the chant is relatively long. Do you think I'll give you time to finish the chant? Chen kicked the real monk Hu in the face, interrupting his chant. Chen didn't want to stand here stupidly, waiting for this guy to finish singing. Don't turn to killing mausoleum. Since he can't finish chant, then abandon chant. His ultimate move is not impossible to chant, but its power will drop a lot. The real name, Monk Hu, waved a white pen, and dyed the surrounding things black, turning into black mausoleums and tombstones, absorbing the blackness on Chen's body. This move can completely disintegrate the flesh and bones Mukuro and even everything into nothingness, but it has no effect on Yhwach's omniscience and omnipotence. And it is even more ineffective to deal with Chen, not to mention that Chen has obtained the omnipotence and omnipotence of Yhwach through the lottery, and even his Gao Tianyuan can ignore all this. Your attack has absolutely no effect on me. It seems that you have exhausted your means, and you can't play any tricks, so you can die in peace. Chen looked at the real name of the monk indifferently. So possible. Seeing that his ultimate move had no effect on Chen, his real name was monk and he couldn't believe it. Broken down 90 black coffin. The huge black cube locked the real name of the monk, and then countless swords strangled him, cutting him into pieces. After the cube dissipated, the miserable real name of the monk was revealed. Although he didn't die, it was miserable. Your resurrection ability should be the power of the Spirit King, right? Chen asked, calling the monk by his real name. The real name, Monk Hu, looked at Chen seriously and said, the Spirit King is the foundation of everything, and the Spirit King cannot be moved. The real name Hasheng didn't know Chen's specific purpose, but he was afraid that Chen would kill the Spirit King. If the Spirit King died, it would cause a devastating disaster. These have nothing to do with you. You are already dying, so what are you thinking about? Chen said with a sneer. Return to nothing, the blade of nothingness. Chen used his own Zanpakudo Bankai. After Bankai, a force that wiped out everything swallowed the real name monk, and the real monk disappeared instantly. After the real name Homan disappeared, Chen immediately relieved Zanpakudo's Bankai. The real name of the monk is dead, completely dead. Even calling his name, it is impossible to bring him back to life. Senjumaru, take me to see the Spirit King, I want to know more about the Spirit King. Chen said to Shutara Senjumaru. Although it is known from the original work that the Spirit King is equivalent to a prisoner, but who knows whether the Spirit King has his own consciousness. Senjumaru, how much do you know about the Spirit King? Shutara Senjumaru is a member of Team Zero, and he should know some secrets of Akatsuki's Spirit King. The Spirit King is still very mysterious. Although it is said that the King of Spirit is the master of everything, looking at his bear-like appearance, no matter where he looks, he cannot be seen as the master of the three realms. Actually, I don't know much about it. Before I became a member of Team Zero, the Spirit King already existed. No one knows how long he has existed. Maybe his real name is a monk. Senjumaru shook his head and said. That's really a pity, I shouldn't just kill him like this. Chen forgot to check the memory of the real name of the monk. Chapter 726 Devour the Spirit King. Walking into the main hall of Lingwang Palace, Chen saw the so-called Lingwang, the ruler of the three realms, who was cut into a stick. There is indeed an extremely terrifying and powerful spiritual pressure in the Spirit King's body, and a pair of eyes stared straight at Chen who walked in, without the slightest expression in his eyes. Chen looked around the Spirit King. This king is really miserable, even if he is killed, he can't be this king. It's probably worse than dying. I know you are conscious, don't you talk about it. Chen said. Although the Spirit King was hiding deeply, Chen still felt that he was not an unconscious object, because when Chen came in, the Spirit King was clearly watching him. The Spirit King did not move, and was still sealed in the crystal with an expressionless face. Does the Spirit King really have consciousness? Shutara Senjumaru asked involuntarily. Although Shutara Senjumaru is a member of Team Zero, she has rarely come into contact with the Spirit King. Basically, the Spirit King can only be contacted by the real name of the monk. Chen smiled, then said to the King Ling, if you don't make a sound, I don't mind killing you. It's really a tool. Chen pulled out Zanpakuto and stabbed it towards the Spirit King with a blank expression. Even though he was pierced by Chen, the Spirit King still did not move at all. God Eater. The huge spiritual pressure of the Spirit King began to be devoured by Chen continuously, and now the Spirit King finally couldn't be quiet anymore. Unlike Yuhabak in the original book, although Yuhabak in the original book devoured his power, those powers are still his own. But Chen is different. After being swallowed by Chen, the power of the Spirit King completely disappeared. If you kill me, everything in the entire world will collapse. The King Spirit said. Ha ha tilde, you look down on yourself too much. Chen sneered. It is an exaggeration to say that the three realms collapse, but the role of the Spirit King is similar to that of the divine tree in Hokage. The Hokage world originally had no chakra, but later the spiritual pressure was born because of the divine tree, and the Spiritual King was the incarnation of the spiritual sun. If the Spirit King dies, the Spirit Child will slowly disappear in the future. Seeing that Chen ignored him at all, the spiritual pressure in the Spirit King's body burst out, and the dark spiritual power hit Chen like a surging wave. It seems that you who are sealed are not completely incapable of resisting. Chen stretched out a hand and blocked the rush of the Spirit King. Shutara Senjumaru felt his body sink, reluctantly resisting the oppression brought by this huge spiritual power. Senjumaru, you go out first. Chen said to Shutara Senjumaru. Master, you have to be careful. Shutara Senjumaru said, and then exited the hall. Although she also wanted to help, she still knew that it was useless to stay here, but a burden. Is there any other means? Chen asked the Spirit King. The Spirit King was silent, so he could only use such a trick when he was sealed. Although he had other abilities, all of them were distributed. Just by looking at him being cut into a stick, you can tell that his abilities have been almost eliminated. Feeling that the spiritual pressure in the body was rapidly being swallowed up, nearly half of it had been lost in a blink of an eye, and the Spirit King could no longer bear it. Let's work together. The Spirit King took back the torrent of spiritual power and said to Chen. Oh, what do you want to cooperate with me? Chen looked at the Spirit King curiously. You pull out the knife first. King Ling said to Chen. Chen pulled Zanpakuto out, stopped using God Eater, and looked at the Spirit King with interest. Anyway, King Ling is just fish on the chopping board, he can't run away, Chen eats it whenever he wants. Moreover, although the spiritual pressure of the Spirit King is huge, Chen's spiritual pressure is much stronger than his, and he is not very fond of this small piece of meat. You help me get rid of imprisonment and resurrection, and you and I will divide the three realms equally. King Ling, you're not a fool, aren't you? Chen couldn't help but glanced at King Ling with contempt. Is this called cooperation? There is no benefit to himself. As for the equal division of the three realms, not to mention that Chen doesn't like it. If he really likes it, Chen won't share it with anyone, he wants it all. I didn't expect you to be very ambitious. But if you tell me this, I have no interest. Chen said lightly, looking at the Spirit King. So, King Spirit, you should disappear in peace. The expressionless face of the Spirit King suddenly became twisted, and the spirits in the entire Spirit King palace began to riot. The dense gathering of spiritual children, even if the captain-level death god comes, will kneel on the ground under this kind of oppression. You only have this level, let me end your sad life. Chen said lightly. The spiritual pressure in the Spirit King's body was swallowed up by Chen in an instant, and the Spirit King's body had turned into dust and vanished. The wedge in the three realms just died. After the death of the Spirit King, the three realms were indeed affected to some extent. Chen stretched out his hand and waved, all the spiritual violence was stabilized, and everything returned to normal again. But from now on, the spirits in the air will not be as endless as before, and the spirits now have become consumables. Because the spiritual king, the source of the spiritual child, has now died. Unless a new spiritual king is created, this world will sooner or later become the world of the god of death. Chen walked out of the palace, and then the palace collapsed directly. Let's go, Senjumaru, and get out of here with me. Chen used Yomatsu Hirasaka to open a space passage and walked in. Shutara Senjumaru naturally followed. The Lingwang Palace has been completely reduced to ruins, and I don't know if anyone will come here in the future. If Yuhabak kills the Lingwang Palace and sees this piece of ruins, I don't know how he will feel. Is this trip going well? Mao Zhawali asked Chen. It's going well, but I killed the Spirit King. Chen sat down and said. Ah, the Spirit King is dead. Didn't you say that after the Spirit King dies, the present world, the world of corpses, and the virtual circle will collapse? Yi Yi asked. If it wasn't for me to calm down, you would have sensed the movement now, but it would be false to say that everything collapsed. Chen shook his head, and then said, but it is true that the soul world and the virtual circle will collapse, because the spiritual child in the air is being consumed at this time. After a few hundred years, there may be no death god and virtual world. After the death of the Spirit King, this world is likely to develop into an ordinary world in the future, and it is also possible to create another Spirit King, and everything will return to the same as before. I don't care about this, Chen. Let's see if they have the ability to create another Spirit King. You just need to know that it won't affect us. Others have nothing to do with us at all. Chen rubbed Ba Qinliu's beautiful hair and said. Oh, Yi nodded a little, and didn't care about those things, as long as it didn't affect them. Chapter 727 Aizen Conquers Balagang. Lord Aizen, I don't know what we're going to do next. Dong Xian wanted to ask Aizen. Next step. Aizen narrowed her eyes slightly, and after thinking of Hyuga Chen, her eyes revealed a sense of danger. First, completely rule the virtual circle, Aizen said after thinking about it. At this time, although Aizen had already notified the virtual circle on the bright side, there were many guys who violated his yin and yang, such as Balagang. Although Balagang surrendered to Aizen, he did not let go of his ambitions and kept thinking about replacing Aizen. Lord Aizen, why don't you take care of your injury first? Your injury is very serious now. It would be bad if you were attacked by those ghosts. Ichimaru Silver suddenly said. Silver, this little injury is nothing to me. Even if I get a little injury, it's easy for me to deal with those little ones. Aizen gave Ichimaru Silver a faint look. Aizen could feel that Ichimaru Silver approached him to kill him, but Aizen didn't care. He just wanted to watch Ichimaru Silver jump and see if he could bring him fun. Aizen has never put Ichimaru Silver in his eyes, but in the original book, Aizen almost died under Ichimaru Silver's Bankai. God Gun Bankai, the speed of expansion and contraction is 500 times the speed of sound. As for whether it is so fast, it does not matter. Anyway, the speed of the God-killing gun is very fast. And the biggest killer move is not attack speed, but the poison that can dissolve cells, that is his biggest killer. Aizen brought Toxianyao and Ichimaru Silver to the Zai Palace. In the Zai Palace, Balagang sat on the throne, surrounded by a large number of subordinate officials. After seeing Aizen, Balagang's eyes narrowed slightly, especially when he saw the wound on Aizen's body. A light flashed in Balagang's eyes. This may be an opportunity for revenge. This guy seizes his own virtual night palace. The hatred between Balagang and Aizen can be said to be inexorable. If it weren't for Aizen's strength, because of the threat of death, he could only choose to surrender. But he didn't surrender in his heart. Balagang was just looking for a chance to kill Aizen. Now that Aizen is injured, isn't this opportunity brought to the door? Balagang, who allowed you to sit in that position, what about the other 10 blades? Dong Xian asked coldly. It's not important, what's important is who allowed you to talk to me like this. Balagang's eyes were cold and stern. A mere dog, a licking dog of Aizen Sosuke, dared to question himself. Of course Balagang would not be convinced. Balagang held a huge double-edged axe in his hand, and was about to chop at Dongxian, the dog. Bump! Dongxian wanted to fly out, and the Zanpakuto in his hand was also broken open, and then Balagang ignored Dongxian's request and concentrated on dealing with Aizen. In his opinion, if Dongxian is a dog, Aizen is the most important thing. Only by killing Aizen can he wash away the humiliation he once had. Balagang's big axe collided with Aizen's knife. Aizen's body remained motionless and looked at Balagang indifferently. Although Balagang is Bastard, his combat power has surpassed that of the captain, but Aizen's strength is even more limitless. Compared with Aizen, Balagang is still far behind. At this time, Aizen's strength is about to break the limit, and the strength has basically reached the peak of the god of death. If Zanpakuto is removed, Aizen can compete with the old man Yamamoto, but if Zanpakuto is included, the battle is unknown. After all, Ryujin Jaka's Bankai is too pervert. As long as the old man Yamamoto keeps Bankai and uses the Zenka no Tachi West Wansan prison clothes, it is impossible for Aizen to defeat the old man Yamamoto. However, with the 5 senses of Jinghua Shuiyu hypnotizing, it is impossible for old man Yamamoto to kill Aizen. The two of them are really desperate, that is, 5 to 5. Humph, I don't believe how long you can last. Balagang snorted coldly. He saw that Aizen was injured. Aizen-sama, do you need me to help? Ichimaru Silver smiled, the Zanpakuto in his hand tightening. If you attack at this time, can you kill Aizen? This was a problem, but Ichimaru Silver didn't dare to try it casually. Aizen's strength is not clear. Ichimaru Silver will not do it at will. No need, just watch Silver. Aizen glanced at Ichimaru Silver lightly, and then said. It is natural for him to do it himself to convince this guy of Balagang. Only by convincing them all will they do things for themselves. Aizen was certain that the other 10 blades did not leave, but were secretly observing. If he can't convince Balagang, then his boss will be unstable. 0. Corrupt. The Skeleton King. After Balagang returned to the blade, the combat effectiveness was greatly enhanced. Sigh of Death. Aizen used Shunpo to avoid it. Even Aizen would not dare to take this attack hard, otherwise it would only be completely corrupted. Balagang is very capable and his Zanpakuto has some connection to time. Break it. Mirror Flower Water Moon. Aizen Shikai, there was fog around him, and something seemed to shatter like a mirror. Balagang immediately became vigilant, but he had seen the horror of Aizen Jingjingwashwayu. What are you looking at? Aizen's voice came from behind Balagang. Balagang was about to turn back, but felt a pain in his body, and then fell to the ground. Balagang was hypnotized and saw Ichimaru Silver as Aizen, but the real Aizen had come behind Balagang. At this time, Balagang looked at the knife on his neck, and he was immediately cowardly. If he couldn't beat him, he couldn't beat him, so let's just surrender. As expected of Aizen-sama, his strength is really strong. Balagang looked like a compliment. I want to live. Even if you become a licking dog, it doesn't matter, after all, everything is for survival. This guy in Balagang is a guy who is afraid of death. This is the last time. If there is another time, you can do it yourself. Aizen took the knife back. Now Aizen needs manpower, otherwise, with Aizen's ruthless heart, how could he keep this guy in Balagang, and he will definitely kill him with one knife. Balagang didn't speak, even if there were any thoughts in his heart, he hid them all. Get out of here first. There was anger in Balagang's eyes, he stood up and retreated. He wrote all of these down. When he has the strength in the future, he must get them all back. As for the lack of strength now, he can only pretend to be a grandson temporarily. Balagang is also a guy who can bend and stretch. After Balagang left, Dong Xian asked in a puzzled way, Lord Aizen, why didn't you kill Balagang? Who knows if he will do some tricks behind his back. He doesn't dare, and he doesn't have the ability to make any small moves right under my nose. Lan Ran's eyes were full of confidence, and he was just empty. Could it be that he couldn't control it? Chapter 728 The old man Yamamoto wants to conquer Aizen. Pay attention to the travel disaster called Kurosaki Ichigo that appeared in the Soul World. Aizen sat on the throne and closed his eyes for a while, and then asked Dongxian. Although Dongxian didn't understand why Aizen asked him to pay attention to that guy, but since it was Aizen's order, as Aizen's #1 dog, he naturally had to do it. Silver, all those broken faces of Zai Palace will be handed over to you to command, and Dongxian wants you to be responsible for your assistance. Aizen said suddenly. Ichimaru Silver was stunned for a moment. Did he hear something wrong? And Aizen actually gave him the command. Are you really not afraid of what he will do? Ichimaru Silver was also curious as to why Aizen didn't give it to Tosin. Compared to Dong Xianyao, he is not trusted by Aizen. Since it is the order of Aizen-sama, I will naturally manage those broken faces, and I will not disappoint Aizen-sama. Ichimaru Silver narrowed his eyes and said. Aizen nodded, and then began to study the collapsing jade, which is now the 10 most important thing for Aizen. In order to study Bengyu, he didn't even care about his injuries and concentrated on researching a complete Bengyu. Only in this way can he defeat Hyuga-chan. Chen is not clear at this time. Aizen is researching day and night in order to get the complete collapse jade as soon as possible. If he knows, Chen should be very happy. Aizen's Bengyu, Chen is also playing his idea. Bengyu is something that Chen has always wanted to get. I don't know how many exchange points can be exchanged for this thing, and it must not be missed. If Chen hadn't already had Bengyu, he would never have sold it to the system. Bengyu is simply pervert. After Aizen's defection, he didn't make any big moves, and everything was temporarily quiet. The old man Yamamoto was busy with the Soul World, and he couldn't care about Aizen for the time being. However, after a period of time, the old man Yamamoto was busy with the corpse and Soul World. The injuries of the captains of the divisions had recovered, and the old man Yamamoto also started to think. This guy Aizen can't be kept. Killing the sages and judges in the 46th room of the central office is not a small crime. So the old man Yamamoto called the various teams for a meeting, and by the way, he also made up for the vacancy left by Aizen after his defection. Old man Yamamoto, you should know that I'm not interested in meetings. Why did you call me here? Chen yawned boredly. This time there is something very important to tell everyone. The old man Yamamoto said in a deep voice. Is it about Aizen? Yukitake Shuru asked. Yes, it is indeed about Aizen, but this is only part of it. There are other things. The old man Yamamoto nodded. I didn't expect that Aizen Soyusuke would actually do such a thing, and we were all deceived by him. Shuru Yukitake shook his head secretly. Shuru Yukitake had a good sense of Aizen in the past, but he didn't expect this guy to hide so deeply. I want to send someone to chase and kill Aizen in the virtual circle, and bring Aizen back to ask for the crime. The old man Yamamoto said thoughtfully. Retrieve Aizen. Now the virtual circle is Aizen's site. Do you go there yourself, old man Yamamoto? Chen asked, looking at old man Yamamoto. Old man Chan, we still need to take a long-term view. It's not good to be too anxious. Jingle Chunchui said. Humph. Do you know how bad Aizen's crime was? All the judges and sages in the central 46th room were killed. The old man Yamamoto slapped the table, shaking with anger. That group of useless people will die if they die. What's the big deal? Chen said lightly. Chen respected his strength, and he looked down on those who were still in power without strength. The old man Yamamoto glanced at Chen, and after being silent for a while, he said, the major nobles have put pressure on me. Let me take Aizen back as soon as possible and ask for the crime. Chen Wenyan pouted, and the old man Yamamoto still listened to those nobles, which is really useless. Jingle Chunchui, I hope that you will lead the team and the captains of the various divisions to bring Aizen back. The old man Yamamoto still doesn't know that a lot of powerful virtuals in the virtual circle have been broken by Aizen and become broken faces. If the old man Yamamoto knew, I am afraid that he would not be so reckless to send someone to attack. Hyuga Chen, this time I want you to go too. The old man Yamamoto looked at Shang Chen. Aizen's strength has also been revealed, and he can kill a captain in one move. If Chen is not allowed to go with him, the old man Yamamoto will not be relieved. It's just boring, so I'll go on a tour, but I'll tell you first, I usually won't take action. Chen Xian reminded them. But don't expect to rely on him after entering the virtual circle at that time. If this is the case, Chen will absolutely ignore them. There is also the promotion of the new captain of the 3rd Division, the 5th Division, and the 9th Division captain. The old man Yamamoto said. Aizen, Ichimaru Silver, and Tosen are going to defect, but these 3 squads can't be left alone. In fact, during this period of time, the members of these 3 divisions did not mix well. The captain of their own division defected, and all kinds of rumors attacked them. You can decide this, old man, yourself. Jingle Chunchui shook his head and said. It's useless to discuss this with them. If you want to be the captain, you have to make old man Yamamoto like him. There is one more thing to inform you, that is, the major nobles are gradually building the new central 46 rooms. The old man Yamamoto knew. After hearing the news, many captains couldn't help but pouted, and they didn't like the people in the central room 46. The meeting is over as well. 650. In that case, it's time to say goodbye. Chen took Ujawali and Broby's hands and left. The old man Yamamoto also ignored it, let the others leave, and then left Jingle Chunchui and Yukitaki Shuru to give some instructions. It is very dangerous to go to the virtual circle. No one knows what Aizen has done in the virtual circle. The old man Yamamoto must pay attention to it. Unless old man Yamamoto goes out in person, or with Jingle Chunchui and the others, they won't even be able to see Aizen's face. After returning to the 4th Division team building, Chen said aloud. Aizen has a large number of thugs in his hands, and none of the 10 blades is weaker than the captain. The strength of the 10 blades in the front has definitely surpassed the captain level. Yuan Lusai probably won't shoot. Ujawali shook his head and said. If you go to the virtual circle, then I will also follow. Chang looked at Chen's eyes and said. Go if you want. Chen couldn't help rubbing Chang's little face. Chang reached out and patted Kai Chen's hand, and then Suinder snorted softly. Go to the virtual circle. Dad, I want to go too. I haven't been to the virtual circle for a long time. Ba Chenliu grabbed Chen's hand and looked at Chen expectantly. Chen was a little speechless. The virtual circle was desolate. What was there to see? But since Ba Chenliu wanted to go, Chen would not refuse, otherwise this little girl would definitely use the trick of crying, making trouble, and hanging herself. Chapter 729. Come to the Night Palace. In the virtual circle, Chen and the group of captains stood in a desert, followed by a group of elite death gods. According to the investigation, Aizen is now in the Zai Palace, where all the Shuis have been subdued by Aizen. Ni Yuli said to the others. Aizen has conquered Shu, it's hard to do now. Jingle Chunchui frowned and rubbed his forehead with his hand. Isn't this place under the control of Aizen? Have we been discovered now? Hitsugaya Toshiro said. It's very possible. In short, prepare for battle first. Shuru Yukitaki shook his head slightly. Go and fight for the emptiness. I'll go elsewhere first. Chen took Chang with one hand and Bachenliu with the other and left here. This is too irresponsible. I really don't know why he can become the captain. Hitsugaya Toshiro said with a frown. Hitsugaya Toshiro doesn't have a sympathy for Chen. First, Chen's lazy attitude makes him not have a good impression of Chen. The second reason is because his childhood sweetheart is a young child. Xiaobai has a deep admiration for Hina Sentao, but it is a pity that now Hina Sentao is in love with Chen. Jingle Chunchui shook his head and said, it seems that we can't rely on him for help. We may have to deal with Aizen ourselves. To tell the truth, Jingle Chunshui has no certainty at all now. Aizen's strength is too strong, and Komamura Zojin, who was killed in seconds, is still lying on the bed. The strength of Komamura Zojin is also good among the captains, but they were killed in seconds against Aizen, so they will not be much better. But who made old man Yamamoto insist on sending them to capture Aizen? They can only bite the bullet. Even if Aizen didn't conquer the emptiness, Ichimaru Silver and Toxian wanted 2 helpers, and Jingle Chunshui didn't think that he and others could take Aizen. What's more, with a group of virtuals as helpers, no one dares to underestimate the strength of virtuals. By the way, I have bad news to tell you. Chen suddenly backed away. What bad news? Shiro Yukitaki asked quickly. Aizen has already used Bengyu to turn Shu into a broken face, and none of the 10 blades will be weaker than you. After Chen finished speaking, he left. Broken. Is it Harabel and Nailu next to Captain Hyuga? Yukitaki Shuru asked. It should be. It seems that this time our battle is difficult. I am afraid that Aizen has already prepared. Jingle Chunshui smiled bitterly. Aizen is already very difficult, and giving him a lot of younger brothers, this is not leaving them a way to survive. I'm really interested in broken faces. Niyuli said with a smile. Niyuli has always been interested in Bromian. If Chen's strength is not too strong, he will definitely attack Harabel and Nailu. However, even if he does it, he is not an opponent. Niyuli is not strong in terms of combat power, but the things he has researched are very powerful. Don't think too much, go to Zai Palace. Don't be afraid, old man Shan has already told me that you can send him a distress letter in times of crisis. Jingle Chunshui comforted the people around him. As long as you send a distress message to old man Yamamoto, he will come here quickly. After all, old man Yamamoto is not at ease. Tilde. I can't wait. Zaragi Kenpachi, who was covered in bandages, said with a big smile. Shuru Yukitaki glanced worriedly at Kenpachi's Akagi. Now his condition is very bad, and his injuries are not yet healed. Is it really okay to participate in this battle? Was previously used by Chen's wooden clone with the Shinsasenju hammer, and his injury was more serious than that of Komamura Zojin, but this guy did not recover, and insisted on following him to the virtual circle. When Jingle Chunshui and the others went to Zai Palace, Aizen in Zai Palace also received news. To dare to break into the virtual circle, they are really bold. Aizen's eyes turned cold. Aizen-sama, the other party is accompanied by Hyuga-chen. Ichimaru Silver suddenly said with a smile. After hearing these words, Aizen's brows were slightly wrinkled. Hyuga-chen actually came to the virtual circle. East Immortal, you take all the bad faces to stop them. Ichimaru Silver, you stay in the Zai Palace. Aizen thought for a while and said. It is still a critical period for the fusion of Bengyu. At this time, he does not want to be affected. Only after obtaining Bengyu can he face Hyuga-chen. After Dongxian took the order, he left with most of the Broken Face army, and of course some people stayed here to guard the Zai Palace. Not long after Dongxian was about to leave, Chen brought Chong and Bachenliu to the Zai Palace. Aizen, you're doing well. This little place is well laid out. Chen looked around and smiled at Aizen who was sitting on the throne. Aizen was startled suddenly, and when she saw Chen who suddenly appeared here, a vigilant look appeared in her eyes. Who are you, who dares to break into the Void Knight Palace? The 50th Blade Nutra looked at Chen in dismay, with cruelty on her face. He was quite upset that he was not able to stop those gods of death, but stayed in the Zai Palace. How dare you talk to me, even a little trash fish? Chen glanced at this guy and said lightly. Bastard, you dare to insult me, I want you to know what despair is. Nutra had a cruel smile on his face. Nutra has an arrogant personality and likes to ridicule. He is also very arrogant and likes to discriminate against women. Sit upright in the frosty sky. Higher and Maru. A cold Zanpakuto appeared in Chen's hand, with a chain on the end of the knife. This is Captain Hitsugaya's Zanpakuto. Ichimaru Silver raised his brows. The bone-chilling chill was released, and the entire Void Night Palace formed frost, and some weak broken faces were directly frozen to death and turned into pieces of flying ice. Higher Inmaru is known as the strongest Zanpakuto in the ice and snow category, but this title is a bit embarrassing and is about to be snatched away by Shubaishui. However, Higher Inmaru's performance is not strong, that is because Hitsugaya Tushiro is young and weak. In Chen's hands, it was different. Nutra felt that his soul was frozen. Disappear completely in the extreme cold, Chen said lightly. Nutra didn't speak, his consciousness was frozen, and it could only be turned into shards of ice. In the end, he didn't understand how or when he died. Aizen, do you want to try the power of Zanpakuto, the strongest ice and snow element? Chen looked at Aizen playfully. Lord Aizen, there seems to be some trouble. Ichimaru Silver had a smile on his face, as if he didn't care. Aizen, who was engulfed by the cold air, behaved very calmly. No matter how critical the situation was, he had to calm down, otherwise there would be no way to survive. Captain Hyuga, are you here to kill me? Aizen asked tentatively. No, I just haven't seen you for a long time. I miss you a little, so I came to see you specially. You should feel very happy. Chen chuckled lightly. Of course, Chen Lai's main purpose was actually to see if Bengyu was finished. Chapter 730 Grim Reaper vs. Broken Face. In the Zai Palace, the atmosphere was tense, and the people on Aizen's side, except for him, Ichimaru Silver, and the 10th Blade Stark, were all frozen to death. Stark still became the 10th Blade, and he didn't separate Lilynette. I don't know what happened to this Chen, but this is not the point. Chen also won't pay attention to why Stark didn't separate Lilynette. Bachenliu looked at the interior of Zai Palace, looked east and west, and seemed to be very curious about everything here. Lan Ran looked at Chen and felt very passive. Because of his strength, he was now passive, basically being slaughtered by others. This feeling made Aizen very unhappy in her heart, and it was extremely uncomfortable. She desperately wanted to complete the fusion of Bengyu, and hang Hyuga-chan after getting Bengyu. For Bengyu, Aizen is very confident. As long as there is Bengyu, he can definitely defeat Hyuga-chen and step on him. If Chen knew that Lan Ran was thinking of stepping on him, then Chen would definitely let him taste what it was like to be stepped on. Chen looked at Aizen's appearance, and knew that Aizen's 220 collapsing jade had not been manufactured yet, otherwise it wouldn't be in this state. If Bengyu's perfect fusion is completed, Aizen will definitely dare to fight against him, not like he is now, calm on the surface, but trembling in his heart. Looks like I'm going to put some pressure on Aizen. Chen thought to himself that at Aizen's speed, he couldn't wait any longer. Give him a little pressure and let him get the complete collapse jade out as soon as possible. Higher Inmaru lifted it up and slashed towards Aizen. The extremely cold ice blade hit Aizen, and everything it passed was frozen and then turned into pieces. When the extremely cold ice blade flew halfway, it suddenly turned into an ice dragon and devoured it towards Aizen. Aizen couldn't sit still when he saw the attack, grabbed Stark next to him with one hand, blocked Stark in front of him, and then quickly fled. Ichimaru Silver was not a fool either. He immediately ran away with him, while Stark was pitiful, swallowed by the ice dragon, and then completely lost consciousness. They ran away. Do you want me to take action to keep them? Chong asked Chen Chong. No need, I never thought of killing him at first. I'm still waiting for him to fuse the perfect Bengyu. Now put a little pressure on him, only when there is pressure can he be motivated. Chen believes that after this experience, Aizen will definitely try his best to speed up the fusion of Bengyu, otherwise he is afraid of being killed by Chen. At this time, Bromian also fought against the captain of Gote 13. The god of death and the broken face completely fought, and Balagang held a big axe to kill Jingle Chunchui, and the powerful force made Jingle Chunchui complain again and again. All the waves, all turn into my shield, all the thunder and light, all turn into my blade. Pisces. Yukataki Shikai, he helped Kiraku Chunsui block the attack. Block it. Black Wing Demon. After Ulquiorra returned to the blade, Black raindrops fell in the sky, and black wings enough to cover the sky appeared behind him, holding a weapon similar to a lightsaber. After returning to the blade, his defensive power, attack power, and spiritual pressure will have a huge improvement, and the most improved is his speed. The terrifying momentum shocked everyone. Ulquiorra's strength is definitely not weaker than the 10th blade, and he can also perform the second stage return blade. After the second stage of returning to the blade, his strength should be the strongest among the broken faces. This guy is so terrifying. Byakuya Kuchiki frowned tightly. Ha ha ha, I like this kind of opponent the most. Zakagi Kenpachi burst out laughing and rushed up. Seeing Kenpachi rushing up, Kuchiki Byakuya frowned even tighter. This guy was too reckless. He didn't know the situation of the other party, so he dared to rush up so directly. Bang! He rushed up quickly and came back faster. A huge wound was cut in his chest, and the bones inside could be seen. Captain Zaraki, are you okay? The elite members of the Shinigami who followed, hurried over and helped Kenpachi up. These people were all from the 11th Division. Scatter. Senbon Sakura. Bankai Senbon Sakura Keian. Senbon Sakura only turned the blade of the blade into a thin blade, while Bankai turned the entire blade of the blade, including the blade, gauntlet, handle, etc., into a thin blade. Songjing thousands of cherry blossoms. Countless blades were strangling towards Ulquiorra, and to outsiders, these blades looked like gorgeous cherry blossoms. It looks very beautiful, but it contains deadly danger. Thousands of cherry blossoms can be said to be one of the most suitable Zanpakuto to pretend to be. The cherry blossoms formed by the refraction of the light by the blade give people a feeling of full force. However, if the force is enough, the attack power is poor, and these blades cannot be approached because Ulquiorra's Reiatsu is too strong. Black Void Flash. Kuchiki Byakuya hurriedly manipulated the invisible blade, blocking it in front of him, and resisting the black virtual flash. Among the 10 blades, Ulquiorra was not the only one. The others also took action and killed the squad leaders in the God of Death. However, the Death God's side is very bad. They don't know anything about Po-Face, but Po-Face knows them very well. Po-Face knows them so well, it is also because of the information given by Aizen, and it is because of Aizen's information that they understand the abilities of each captain. Jingle Chunchui looked at Balagang with a serious face. His left arm had disappeared and was rotten by Balagang. If it wasn't for Shuru Yukitaki who cut off Jingle Chunchui's arm in time, Jingle Chunchui would have gone to see the Spirit King now. Wang Shu's Flash. The favored son of the sky, the Iron City Wall, the dragon walking, the lion roaring, the tiger roaring, the wolf rushing, severing the heaven and the earth before it collapses, the 81 tying of the road, breaking the sky. Kuchiki Byakuya used Dankong to block in front of him, blocking Ulquiorra's attack. Damn, how could they be so strong? Jingle Chunchui scolded her mother in her heart. After turning into a broken face, Shu's strength improved not a little bit. Now that Aizen's broken face, they can't deal with it. If Aizen is added, they can only wait to die. Inform the teacher, Yukitaki Shuru said breathlessly. Now that Hyuga-chen is not here, he may not be able to help, so he can only inform Yamamoto Motoyanagi Saijigu this way. Okay, I'll pass the message to Old Man Shan now. I just hope he can come earlier, otherwise we'll have to collect the corpse for us. Jingle Chunchui said. During the battle with me, you still dare to talk and don't take me seriously. Balagang felt very angry. The Axe of Death. The huge axe slashed towards the front. Jingle Chunchui and Yukitaki Shiruro could only dodge, and did not dare to hit hard, because if they hit hard, they would probably be chopped into ashes with an axe. Chapter 731 The Masked Army is on. The battle between the Broken Face and the God of Death was still going on fiercely. Jingle Chunchui avoided the big axe in Balagang and couldn't help but say, why hasn't the old man come yet? I believe that the teacher will come over soon, let's hold on for a while. Tilda, Yukitaki Shuru said. The two of them were pressed and beaten by Balagang together, and I felt aggrieved in my heart. Mainly because Balagang's ability is too tricky, it can make anything rotten, and they don't dare to approach it at will. Sit on the frosty sky. Higher and Maru. The ice dragon spins its tail. Hitsugaya Tushiro froze Kiba, who was fighting against him, with one move, and then ran over to support Zaraki Kenpachi. Zaraki Kenpachi was fighting with Grimjow with a knife, and several wounds had been cut on his body. If he didn't come to help, he might be hacked to death. Boom. Boy, with just this move, you want to block my actions. Kiba broke open the ice block of Hitsugaya Toshiro, and then killed him towards Hitsugaya Toshiro. Nimayuri and Salapalo Glands fought with the 80th blade, and now Nimayuri has the upper hand, and he is thinking about grabbing this guy and making it into a specimen. Well, these two guys are actually perverts, and it's normal to fight to death. Although Niyuli has some advantages, the others are all at a disadvantage, and the god of death is slowly collapsing. Everyone, I'm here to find help for you. Hearing that, Jingle Chunchui looked over, and the person who came was Kazuki Urahara, and behind him were Ichigo Kurosaki and members of the masked army. You let us go once, but this time we will return the favor. Hirako Mako said, carrying the knife. The appearance of Hirako Mako and his group made the people of the Broken Army stop. Mask and Broken met. I don't know what the result will be. Where's your boss, Aizen? Hirako Mako put away the smile on her face and her eyes turned cold. For the hatred of Aizen, everyone in their masked army has never forgotten that their purpose is to kill Aizen. Just because of you, you are not qualified to meet Aizen-sama. Hirako Baldi, don't talk so much, kill them, won't you be able to see Aizen? Saraki Hiyori rushed to kill them impulsively. Second stage returning blade. Ulquiorra used the second stage return blade that had never been shown before. Even Aizen had never seen it before, and it was Ulquiorra's trump card. This kind of terrifying Reiatsu, Ulquiorra has this kind of strength. Balagang frowned, feeling that Ulquiorra was a big threat. It seems that there will be a way to kill this Ulquiorra in the future. After the second stage of returning to the blade, all of his abilities were improved again, and he stretched out his palm and grabbed it towards Hiyori Sarakiaki. Hisari, it's dangerous, come back quickly. Hirako Mako's pupils shrank suddenly, then entered a virtual state, and instantly rushed in front of Tsuruaki Hiyori and dragged her back. And the knife in his hand blocked Ulquiorra's grabbing hand. Hiyori, how are you? Humph, even if you don't need to save me, I'll be fine. Tsuruaki Hiyori snorted softly. However, even if it wasn't for Hirako Mako's shot, she might have knelt down, so Saraki Hiyori is still very grateful to Hirako Mako. I saved you with kindness, but I didn't even say thank you, really. Hirako Mako said helplessly. Have you said enough? Ulquiorra's hand tightened. Boom. Hirako Mako hurriedly stepped back, stood in front of him with a knife, and looked at Ulquiorra cautiously. This guy's strength is too strong, like a wild beast. Ulquiorra's return blade is an all-round improvement, and it is said that the strength has also become stronger. Black Void Flash. It released a pitch-black phantom flash again, and the power of this phantom flash was no less than Wangshu's flash. The favored son of the sky, the iron city wall, the dragon walking, the lion roaring, the tiger roaring, the wolf rushing, severing the heaven and the earth before it collapses, the 81 tying of the road, breaking the sky. The transparent defensive wall rose, blocking the powerful black phantom flash through the chant of the ghost. I almost couldn't stop it. This guy's strength is really strong. If there is no blur, it would be dead now. Hirako Mako said with lingering fears. Ulquiorra's black void flash is really strong, and Hirako Mako can block it, which is already very good. However, after the virtualization, Hirako Mako's strength is also skyrocketing, and the powerful strength will never be weaker than Jingle Chunchui, or even better. Although Jingle Chunchui is a veteran, his personality is lazy, and his strength is just that, not particularly strong. However, his Zanpakuto Bankai is very powerful, but it will kill friendly troops by mistake, so Jingle Chunchui does not dare to use Bankai casually. Tisk tisk tilde. Chen walked slowly with Chang and Bachenliu. I didn't expect it to be so lively here. The masked army and the Grim Reaper, plus the faceless army, is this a tripartite meeting? Balagang turned his head, and after seeing Chen, he immediately showed hatred, but the hatred disappeared in an instant, replaced by fear. Balagang, I didn't expect you to be a dog for Aizen, what a shame. The king of the virtual circle, it's ridiculous. Chen looked at Balagang and said. Humph, believe it or not, I killed you. The me now is not the me I used to be. Balagang snorted coldly. Although I hate Aizen very much in my heart, I have to say that Aizen has indeed brought him benefits, such as the current broken face. After becoming a broken face, Balagang's strength has risen in a straight line, especially the power of the great skeleton. Balagang feels that he is invincible. The reason why Aizen was able to defeat him was only by Zanpakudo's little trick. After he broke Zanpakudo's hypnosis, he would make Aizen look good. Thinking of this, Balagang is not so afraid of Chen anymore. Yo tilde, with a little improvement in strength, do you want to turn the world upside down? I think you don't respect me a bit. Chen looked at Balagang indifferently. Don't think of the me now as the me of the past, go to hell. The axe of destruction. Balagang used the ring to appear in front of Chen, and the big axe slashed towards Chen's body. I have to say, your skeleton looks really ugly. Chen kicked out with a lightning-like kick, with electric lights still wrapped around his feet. Boom. A burst of roaring sound reminded me that Balagang flew out upside down, buried his body in the sand, and was easily put down by Chen's move. This shot directly scared those people, especially the people from the face-breaking army. They didn't understand Chen's strength at all. So when I saw Chen knocking down Balagang with one kick, I was shocked all of a sudden. Balagang is the 20th blade, and Balagan thinks that he is the strongest among the 10 blades. In fact, if Balagan really fights Stark, the outcome is really unknown, but now that Stark has died, it will not be possible to fight in the future. Chapter 732 Society My Dome Sister. Go on. What are you all looking at me for? Noticing that everyone's eyes were focused on him, Chen couldn't help saying. However, no one moved. They didn't dare to make a move. After all, Balagang was brought down with one foot, and they still haven't got up. If it wasn't for the existence of spiritual pressure in Balagang, they would have thought Balagan was dead. Captain Chen, long time no see. Pingzi Junzi greeted Chen. I have a question, I wonder if Captain Chen can answer it for me. Ask. I'm in a good mood now, and you can ask anything you want. As for whether I answer or not, that's not necessarily the case. Chen said while sitting on a stone. I want to know, did Captain Chen know about Aizen's plan from the beginning? Of course he knew Akatsuki when Chen and Aizen had a holiday, but Aizen was severely injured several times in Chen's hands. Yes, I do know. Captain Hyuga, since you know, why didn't you tell me? Hitsugaya Tushiro asked angrily. Come on, it's as if you will believe me if I say it. Chenpai said with a pouted mouth. In the original image of Aizen, even if Chen said it, they just regarded Chen as slandering Aizen, not to mention that Chen still needs Aizen to complete the collapse of Jade. Why say it? Retreat. Dong Xianyao, who had been standing in the back, suddenly said. Hyuga Chen, whom Aizen-sama is afraid of. If he doesn't retreat, he will die. Oh tilde, did you just run away in such a sullen way? Grimjiao Jakarta was quite upset, and he was having a good time. If you want to stay here, then I don't have any opinion. Dong Xian glanced at him and said. Okay, retreat, let's retreat. Grimjiao Jakarta's not a fool, although he is very confident in his own strength, but this guy in Balagang has been brought down. Can he guarantee that he is as good as Balagang? If you want to leave, you have to ask us whether we agree or not. Liuch Quanchi said coldly. They came here, on the one hand, to pay back the favor, and on the other hand, they wanted to kill Aizen. The hatred for Aizen has penetrated into their bones. The former captain and deputy captain has now become a wanted criminal in the Soul Society. Who can feel better? If you haven't seen Aizen now, then vent all the grievances in your heart on the heads of Aizen's subordinates. The Gun of Thunder. A spear formed by Reiatsu appeared in Ulquiorra's hand, and threw it at the masked army. Just after throwing it out, a spear of spiritual power appeared in his hand again, and threw it towards Jingle Chunchui and the others. Ulquiorra can use this powerful move indefinitely, and his Reiatsu can support his continuous use. Boom! Although the power of the thunder spear was blocked, the others were also very embarrassed, with scars all over their bodies. Before this was over, Ulquiorra suddenly condensed a thunder spear again and threw it at Chen. I don't know whether to live or die, destroy it. The Gun of Destruction. The black rabbit doll in Chong's hand suddenly turned into a pitch-black spear. Chong threw the spear out, destroying the thunder spear like a meteor, and then penetrated Ulquiorra's body. Ulquiorra froze there. His body was slowly collapsing at this time, and death was slowly coming. Is this the taste of death? This was the last word that Ulquiorra left in this world. After speaking, it was completely destroyed. Tragic. Very good. As expected of my sister Chong, I am my sister Chong in society, and people don't talk much. Chen glanced at Chong and said, Ulquiorra will be killed if he takes a shot, and if he doesn't, it's amazing. Humph. Tsunere snorted softly, killing a person with one move, what's there to make a fuss about? But others don't think so. Jingle Chunchui, Yukataki Shuru, Hirako Mako, and Kurosaki Ichigo were all stunned. How could this girl be so powerful? It looks thin and weak, but after this strength is exerted, people are simply stunned. I can't be bothered, I can't look down on anyone. This girl is a big guy. Retreat. Dong Xian wanted to shout again, and then fled quickly. It was too terrifying, he didn't even see the trajectory of the spear. Ulquiorra died too fast. Would you like to kill them all? Chong Shangchen asked. 0. It's up to you, do what you want. Chen said, touching Chong's hair. Chong stretched out her hand, and the spear of destruction that flew out flew back into her hand again, and then turned into a black rabbit doll. Forget it, I'm not interested in killing them. What about me, can I do it? Yakiryu said, holding the small Zanpakudo. You'd better forget it, just be honest. Chen held the Bachinliu who was about to move. What? Dad doesn't believe in my strength. I'm very strong. Bachinliu looked at Chen in dissatisfaction. They've been playing all the time, and I haven't seen you practice before, and I can't see your strong point. Chen said while pinching her little Chong's nose. This little girl is playful, and has never been serious about training. She really can't beat those bad faces when she rushes up, not to mention that someone is already chasing her. Jingle Chunchui and Heiko Mako and the others have already gone to hunt down the broken army, and they will not let the broken army go. Balagang climbed out of the sand and saw a group of people who had already left, as well as Chen who was sitting not far away and watching him, and suddenly didn't know what to do. Do you want to run? Chen asked, looking at Balagang who wanted to slip away. Broken Road 88. Flying Dragon Strikes Thief, Thunder Cannon. Boom. The Balagang that was hit completely vanished, and he didn't even say a word. Not long after Brother Chen killed Balagang, the old man Yamamoto came over. 2.2 What about Jingle Chunchui and the others? After seeing Chen, the old man Yamamoto frowned slightly and asked. Going to hunt down the faceless army. The old man Yamamoto frowned even more. Isn't it very dangerous? Why are you chasing others now? What's the matter? Yamamoto asked involuntarily. You won't know after you catch up with it yourself, go and see for yourself. Chen said to the old man Yamamoto, and then left with Chong and Bachinliu. Leaving the virtual circle and returning to the soul world, because Aizen has now escaped from the virtual circle. As long as Aizen is a smart person, it is impossible for him to continue to stay in the virtual circle. It is very likely that he has passed away now. In this world, the death god will be tied up, afraid of causing heavy casualties. Aizen can use this to complete the collapse of Jade with peace of mind. Right now, Aizen is thinking of waiting for the complete collapse of the Jade to come out. Chapter 733 Aizen vs Ichimaru Silver. Aizen solved. Seeing Chen come back, Yi asked in surprise. No, that guy should have run away and didn't finish Bengyu. Even if Aizen wants to die, I won't let him die. Chen said softly. As for why Chen didn't grab Bengyu and study it by himself, there are two aspects to this. One is that he is lazy, and the other is that he is not interested in research, so he will not. And someone else does it for you, so why do you have to do it yourself? Aizen did indeed run away, and the subordinates he received were also unlucky. Basically, all of them were killed, and few of the Broken Face Legion survived. Because the old man Yamamoto made a move, he directly opened Bankai, and a large amount of pictures was taken in a second. Toxian wanted this blue-dyed dog's leg to escape successfully. After the old man Yamamoto brought people back, he announced that Aizen was wanted in the Three Realms. He must find Aizen's whereabouts. Aizen is also unlucky tilde. At this time, Aizen was far worse than the high-level boss in the original book, and had completely become a lost dog. I don't know what Aizen 10 will do next. I really look forward to what he will do. Chen said while looking at the news. In the present world, Aizen looked at the embarrassed Dong Xianyao. Yes, tell me about your situation. Sorry Aizen-sama, we originally suppressed Jingle Chunshui and the others, but who knew that they would kill Hirako Mako and the others halfway through, and then Yamamoto Yuanliu Saiju came over, so we. If Dongxian didn't continue talking, the situation behind him was already very clear. The Broken Face Legion was almost wiped out. Dongxian was about to escape and lost an arm. Broken Face Legion, the entire army has been wiped out at this time. Dongxian said with shame. It doesn't matter, they died because they were too weak. Aizen said indifferently. Again, you're worthless. A knife pierced Dongxian's back, and Dongxian's eyes widened, looking at the tip of the knife emerging from behind him, with a look of disbelief. He turned his head hard and found that the person who attacked him was Ichimaru Silver. Looking at Ichimaru Silver's face with a fox smile, Tosin would be furious. Lord Aizen, why? Dongxian asked angrily. Silver, be ruthless. Aizen pulled out Zanpakuto and slashed Dongxian's head with one sword. After cutting off the head that Dongxian wanted, Aizen showed no expression on his face, and the indifference was outrageous. Aizen-sama is really indifferent. Captain Toxian is also loyal to you. Besides, this time you are facing Captain Yamamoto. Ichimaru Silver said. Silver, sometimes you don't need so many reasons. If you lose, you lose. I don't need waste. Aizen gave Ichimaru Silver a deep look. If one day, you and Dongxian want to be the same, I don't mind killing you. Oops tilde. Aizen-sama said that. I'm really scared. Ichimaru Silver said with a smile. Lord Aizen, I wonder if there have been any big moves recently, such as going into the Soul realm for revenge. Aizen glanced at Ichimaru Silver indifferently, and then said, when I finish Bengyu, I will personally kill the Soul Society for revenge. The matter of creating Wangjian and killing the Lingwang Palace has been left behind by Aizen, and now Aizen's most important thing is revenge. He is going to take revenge on Hyuga-chen, and he must go to Hyuga-chen to pay the price of death. If it wasn't for Hyuga-chen, this time, Aizen wouldn't leave the virtual circle in despair, and let the virtual circle that has been in business for many years. I originally thought that Aizen-sama's domineering will do something. I'm really disappointed. Ichimaru Silver smiled and then withdrew. Ichimaru Silver felt that if he said that much, he would probably be killed by Aizen. Ichimaru Silver left. Aizen held a piece of collapsing jade in his hand. At this time, the two collapsing jade had already fused together, and there was only one last step left. I believe it will not take long to complete. 3 months later, Aizen's heart was inlaid with Bengyu, and Bengyu was completely completed. Even Aizen couldn't help showing joy on his face. Silver, maybe we can go for revenge. Aizen said looking at Ichimaru Silver. Lord Aizen's collapsing jade has been completed. That's really congratulations to Aizen-sama. I wonder when Aizen-sama will go to the Soul World. Ichimaru Silver asked Aizen. Don't worry about this, I have to deal with a group of people before going to Soul Realm. Aizen's eyes shone with light. Oh, I don't know who Aizen-sama wants to solve. Ichimaru Silver asked curiously. Of course it's you, Silver. Aizen's smile disappeared, and her expression became very indifferent. Ichimaru Silver had a smile on his face and said with a smile, Aizen-sama is joking with me. Whoosh. Ichimaru Silver immediately took a few steps back, the clothes on his chest had been slashed, and he looked at Aizen vigilantly. You actually dodged, Silver, you are very wary of me. Are you trying to kill me? Aizen was not surprised when she saw Silver dodging. Lord Aizen is joking, when am I going to kill you? Silver said, taking a few steps back. Silver, you can't hide your murderous aura from me. If it was before, I would have turned a blind eye to you, but now I can't. Aizen said indifferently. At this time, Aizen Benyu has been completed. He wants to do something big. He wants to duel with Hyuga Chen. At this time, he can't keep a person who stabs a knife in the back. Lord Aizen, I have never shown murderous intent to you. Ichimaru 290 Silver had a smile on his face, but his eyes showed a chill like a viper. Shoot him. Sharp gun. Clang. Aizen blocked the spear and looked at Ichimaru Silver indifferently. The murderous aura on his body was no longer concealed. It seems that Aizen is really going to kill me. Ichimaru Silver smiled. You're still laughing now, do you have any trump cards? Aizen asked Ichimaru Silver. At this time, Ichimaru Silver actually made him feel a hint of danger, which made Aizen a little interested. Shoot him. God kills the gun. Ichimaru Silver finally used his own Bankai, but he has never used Bankai, which is Ichimaru Silver's trump card. The telescopic length of the God-killing gun can reach 13 kilometers, and the speed, according to Ichimaru Silver himself, is 500 times the speed of sound, but there should be a lot of water in it. But this is moisture, and the speed is unparalleled. Aizen didn't react, and the blade wiped a wound on Aizen's face. Seeing this slight wound, Ichimaru Silver had a smile on his face. When the God-killing gun stabbed others, it also left ashes on Zanpakuto in other people's bodies. This is a toxin that can dissolve cells and can decompose everything. Sure enough, because of Aizen's carelessness, they successfully left scars on Aizen. Now even Aizen can only stand there and wait to die. Ichimaru Silver is very confident. Chapter 734 Ichimaru Silver is dead. At this time, Aizen also felt a great crisis, and his body was slowly decomposing. Ichimaru Silver, I didn't expect you to hide such a hand. Aizen said lightly, without the slightest panic. Aizen knew some of Ichimaru Silver Bankai's abilities, but it was revealed by Ichimaru Silver on his own initiative. Now it seems that Ichimaru Silver still has a hand. Lord Aizen, it won't be long before you die. Ichimaru Silver didn't expect that Aizen could be dealt with so easily. Actually, I was hit by you on purpose. Aizen left this sentence, and the body was disintegrated and disappeared, leaving only the collapsed jade. Ichimaru Silver frowned slightly. What does this mean? No matter so much, let's destroy things like Benyu first. Ichimaru Silver aimed at Benyu and wanted to destroy Benyu. However, Benyu was picked up by one hand and looked at Ichimaru Silver lightly, and Aizen was resurrected again. I also want to thank you. Ichimaru Silver, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have merged with Benyu so soon. Aizen smiled and looked at Ichimaru Silver. At this time, Aizen, with the help of Ichimaru Silver, allowed himself to enter the second fusion state and completed the second transformation. You didn't die. Ichimaru Silver took a few steps back and looked at Aizen vigilantly. At this time, Aizen's strength increased again. If the previous Aizen, he still has the courage to face, now Ichimaru Silver has lost the courage to face Aizen. Knowing that he couldn't beat him, Ichimaru Silver wouldn't stay here to die, so he used Shunpo to escape immediately. Want to run away. Aizen, whose whole body was wrapped in milky white materialized spiritual pressure, sneered, and then quickly chased after him. Compared to before, Aizen's speed power increased tenfold. At this time, Aizen had abandoned Zanpakuto and no longer relied on the power of Kyoka Suigetsu. Looking at Aizen, who appeared in front of him in an instant, Ichimaru Silver's pupils shrank suddenly, and then suffered a heavy blow, and flew back with blood sprayed. It's really powerful. Sooner or later, I will have the power to become a god, ha 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 ha. Feeling her own powerful power, Aizen couldn't help laughing wildly. Aizen can't wait, and wants to challenge Hyuga-chen. He will use Hyuga-chen's hand to completely send him to the throne. Without steps. Zanpakuto in Ichimaru Silver's hand stretched like a machine gun and stabbed towards Aizen, trying to stab Aizen to pieces. Speed is power. Ichimaru Silver's attack, even Aizen dare not underestimate. The extremely fast speed allows his Zanpakuto to penetrate everything. Aizen dodged in an instant, even if the killing gun could not hit him. The speed is so fast. Ichimaru Silver was shocked, and was able to escape the killing gun. Silver, your strength is really good, it's a pity to kill you. Aizen appeared behind Ichimaru Silver. Hey Tilda, are we Aizen-sama still showing mercy to me? Ichimaru Silver chuckled lightly. It's good to know, although I don't know why, but the worst thing you did was to go against me. Aizen looked at Ichimaru Silver coldly. I'm not going to take it easy, maybe the one who died is you. Ichimaru Silver turned around and stabbed Aizen again. Single shield. A shield stood in front of Aizen, but in just a moment, it was broken through by Ichimaru Silver's god-killing spear. Although Aizen's single shield can block the slash of the captain-level death god, it cannot block the killing gun of Ichimaru Silver. The god-killing gun can cut through all objects, unless Aizen uses a million shields, which can block the god-killing gun's attack. But even so, it was weakened by a lot of attacks. Although it broke through the single shield, it was unable to break through the body defense of Aizen. Aizen wrapped in spiritual pressure is like a cocoon. The outer spiritual pressure is wrapped, and the defense is also extremely strong, greatly increasing the spiritual pressure, slashing, speed, defense, and recovery. What? Ichimaru Silver looked slightly surprised as Aizen blocked his attack. Silver knew how powerful his god-killer spear was, but he couldn't break through Aizen's defense. It seems that you and I are no longer from the same dimension. Aizen said lightly towards Ichimaru Silver. Even his defenses can't be broken, such a person is completely unqualified to be compared with him. Go to hell, Silver. Aizen appeared behind Ichimaru Silver in an instant, and stabbed Ichimaru Silver's back with a knife. The face of Aizen's attack, Ichimaru Silver couldn't dodge at all, and he didn't even have a chance to turn back. Cough cough tilde. Aizen, you won't be Hyuga-chen's opponent. Ichimaru Silver coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood and said. You can't see this, Ichimaru Silver. Aizen pulled out Zanpakuto. Ichimaru Silver's body fell to the ground. But even so, Aizen still didn't let Ichimaru Silver go. After all, Ichimaru Silver wasn't dead yet. How could Aizen's shot be left alive? If it was the protagonist, Aizen might still be merciful, but Ichimaru Silver is not the protagonist. So he's going to be tragic. Aizen rudely cut off Ichimaru Silver's head with one hand. Aizen is also really ruthless, and at every turn, he will behead with one hand and head with one knife. Killing Ichimaru Silver, Aizen left here, and it was time to start his plan. Now that there is collapsing jade, Aizen's strength has suddenly increased several times, and now he has confidence. Even old man Yamamoto, Aizen has the confidence to hang and beat. But as for whether he can beat Hyuga-chen now, this Aizen is not clear, but it doesn't matter. Now Aizen is looking forward to Hyuga-chen becoming stronger. Aizen is very clear about the effect of the collapsing jade. With the effect of collapsing jade, even if he is defeated, he can still evolve towards a higher level. Now Aizen firmly believes that he is invincible. What Hyuga-chen is, it is just a stepping stone for him to become a god. After leaving the hidden secret place, Aizen did not go to the Soul World, but went to Kakuza Town. He wants to find out the masked army hidden in Kakuza Town, and first pull out this nail. Because Aizen was afraid that he would start a war with the Soul Society, and the masked army suddenly intervened, which would lead to any changes. Aizen can't allow variables to appear in his plan. Let's deal with these masked forces that have hatred with him first. Hirako Mako and the others didn't know that Aizen was killing them at this time, but even if they knew, they would not run away, but would meet them instead. The hatred between Hirako Mako and Aizen is already huge. Although more than 100 years have passed, the hatred is getting bigger and bigger. Perhaps knowing that Aizen killed them, they would celebrate. Aizen went straight to the place where the masked army lived, but he had specially investigated and knew where they lived now, which was easy for Aizen to find. Chapter 735 Aizen vs. Masked Army. Captain Hirako, it's really not easy to see you, Aizen said lightly. Hirako Mako and other people in the masked army frowned slightly when they saw Aizen, and they were extremely vigilant in their hearts. Who is this guy covered all over? Hirako Mako and the others did not recognize Aizen. Now Aizen is covered in milky white reiatsu, and the voice has also changed. Hirako Mako and the others can recognize the ghost. Although they can't recognize it, they also know that the other party is not good, and it is specially aimed at them. Who the hell are you? Fengchao Lujiro asked. The captains are still forgetful. They even forgot about me. I really don't know if it's my honor or your sorrow, Aizen said with a smile. Aizen. Are you Aizen? Hirako Mako recognized Aizen. Although Aizen has changed a lot, Hirako Mako was very familiar with Aizen's way of speaking and so on, so naturally he recognized it. As expected of my former captain, he recognized me at once, Aizen said with a slight smile. All right. In fact, Aizen, who was wrapped in reiatsu, couldn't see his smile at all. Bastard, it's actually you. Tsuruuki Hiyori rushed up to 160 and slashed towards Aizen with a knife. In Hayo, don't be so impulsive, okay? Hirako Mako was anxious, although Hirako Mako hated Aizen very much, but he had self-knowledge. The current Aizen looks weird and powerful. With the strength of Tsuruuki Hayo, how could it be Aizen's opponent? Is this going up to die? Boom. With the sound of an explosion, Hiyori flew back upside down, blood spurting out of his mouth, and he fainted. Aizen killed Tsuruuki Hiyori with one punch, and the powerful reiatsu pressed everyone in the masked army. Damn bastard, I'm going to kill you. Hirako Mako's eyes suddenly changed to Yuhi. Shouting, this is just the proof of the weak, you have always been just a weak in my eyes, sad. Aizen said lightly. Fall down, reverse strokes. Does not have Bankai, and his Bankai is not very useful in one-on-one battles. It is not that Bankai will definitely be better than Shikai. After Shikai, everything around him was turned upside down, and Hirako Mako moved quickly and attacked Aizen's right. But in Aizen's view, Hirako Mako attacked his left, and not only that, Aizen's entire world was turned upside down. Obviously he is standing on the ground, but now he seems to be standing in the sky, and high-rise buildings seem to replace the original sky. This upside-down feeling made people feel uncomfortable, and even Aizen couldn't get used to it for a while. Hirako Mako slashed at Aizen's body, but it failed to cause any damage. The cocoon formed by reiatsu was extremely defensive, and Ichimaru Silver's god-killing spear was unable to break through. Don't play this kind of trick on me. Aizen saw Hirako Mako attacked again and kicked it out. This time, Aizen kicked Hirako Mako directly in the abdomen. Hirako Mako suffered a heavy blow, and the abdomen seemed to be kicked through with a kick. The powerful force was like the impact of a meteorite. Hirako Mako flew back, smashed heavily to the ground, and fell to the ground. If it's just this little trick, I'm so disappointed, my Captain Hirako. Aizen said indifferently. Hirako, are you okay? Ikawa Luowu hurried over and helped Hirako Mako up. Cough tilde. Aizen is very strong, retreat. Hirako Mako coughed out a mouthful of blood and said. The enemy is right in front of us, how can we retreat? Said Liuch Quanxi. Not an opponent, don't make unnecessary sacrifices. Hirako Mako shook his head and said. He could see clearly that Aizen's strength was too terrifying, and if they really fought, they might be wiped out. Even if it's not an opponent, you have to fight. You won't be afraid of Pingzi. Have you forgotten who caused us to end here? Liuch Quanxi did not obey the dissuasion. If it is normal, he will not listen to what Hirako Mako says. Hirako Mako is equivalent to the leader among them. But it's different now. After seeing the big enemy Aizen, he has been carried away by hatred. Bankai, the iron fist breaks the wind. Liuch Quanxi holds a toothed knife in each hand, or a fist blade. The arms are wrapped by the crawler of the two arms is connected at the back, and the back is also armored. The power of the iron fist breaking wind is not weak, the hurricane can destroy all buildings, and the wind can spread throughout the city. And the explosive power is extremely strong, and the attack power is definitely first class. Liuch Quanxi clenched his fist and killed Lan Ran. The fist hit Aizen's body, and the shell formed by his spiritual pressure was punched with a gap, but the gap disappeared in an instant. The strongest attack at the captain level can only open a trivial gap in Aizen's defense, which is really sad. Do you have this level of power? I'm so disappointed. Aizen shook her head and said. One hand grabbed Liuch Quanxi's neck and lifted him up, and then Zanpakuto in his hand suddenly stabbed towards Liuch Quanxi. Laugh. Liuch Quanxi's body was pierced, and Aizen threw the sword and flung Liuch Quanxi out. Captain. Liza Yatomaru hurried over to check the situation of Liuch Kensai. Fortunately, he didn't hit the key, so he didn't die. See it. This is my current strength. Aizen paved the road under Lingxi's feet, standing in the air looking at the masked army below. Bastard, what are you arrogant about here? Give me death. After Aikawa Luowu turned into a blur, then Shikai Tengumaru hit Aizen. Tengumaru is an oversized wolf kiba stick, with powerful brute force and explosive power, very powerful. After the virtualization, his power skyrocketed, but the virtualization can last for a short time, and it can only last for 3 minutes. Are you blurry? You are all just some of my failures. Aizen looked at them and said disdainfully. At that time, they were framed for the purpose of experimenting. Since it was the first experiment, the effect was not very good. 6 square ceiling formation. There are 6 green enchantment Jinchuriki column suns summoned by Akita Bagan, trapping Aizen and making it easier for Aikawa Rao to attack. Ask for help from Soul Society. Hirako Mako said after taking a deep breath. At the beginning, they had grievances against the Soul Society, but when the virtual circle went to crusade Aizen, because of their help, Yamamoto Motoryu Saijokuni had withdrawn their wanted. They were even invited to return to the Soul Realm, but they refused because they had grudges in their hearts. Now that life and death are at stake, and there is nothing to worry about, Hirako Mako asked Ju Nanbai to inform the people of the Soul Society to completely solve the big scourge of Aizen. Chapter 736 The War Begins. What a huge Reiatsu! Who actually released such a huge Reiatsu in Kakuza town? Urahara Kazuki looked at the passerby who passed out, and his cynical face gradually became serious. Kurosaki Ichigo also felt this huge spiritual pressure, glanced at his family, and said to Kurosaki Isshin, I need to go out for something. Boy, remember to come back early, don't let Dad worry about me. Kurosaki cast a glance at Kurosaki Ichigo and said. Understood, I'm just going out to play, nothing will happen. Kurosaki Ichigo waved his hand and went out to leave. After Kurosaki Ichigo left, Kurosaki Isshin's expression suddenly became serious, and there was a serious contrast with the careless look before, as if he didn't care about anything. As the former captain of the 10th Division, even if he became an ordinary person now, how could Kurosaki Isshin not feel the huge Reiatsu? How could he not feel the changes of Kurosaki Ichigo? I originally wanted you to live an ordinary life, but I didn't expect that, alas. Kurosaki Yixin couldn't help sighing, and he could only bless Kurosaki Ichigo safe and sound. Kurosaki Yuko and Kurosaki Natsuri looked at Kurosaki Yixin a little strangely. It was the first time they saw this heartless father, and they would be so melancholy, but where did the stupid brother go? A group of people in the masked army are being beaten madly by Aizen. I don't know if Aizen likes to be merciful and doesn't kill them. It seems that the blue dye's collapsing jade has been manufactured. Chen sat on the roof of a high-rise building and looked at the distance lightly. At this time, Aizen is indeed stronger than before, and his strength has increased several times. If old man Yamamoto does not use Bankai, he may not be Aizen's opponent. Isn't this what you want to wait for? But if you don't say that he is Aizen, I really can't tell. Yi Yi, who is standing behind Chen, said. Now that Aizen looks like a ghost, who can recognize him as Aizen? By the way, my Bengyu seems to be different from Aizen's. Chen couldn't help thinking. After he absorbed Bengyu, in addition to the continuous improvement of his strength, he did not change into this appearance like Aizen. Aizen, this is called evolution. Chen is very curious, why the more Aizen evolves, the uglier it becomes. How strange. It's still relatively good now, and when it evolves again, Aizen will be even more ugly. Aizen continued to beat the masked army, and felt very excited. The more he started, the more excited he became. Seeing their miserable appearance, Aizen felt a sense of satisfaction in his heart, as if he had awakened some incredible attributes. Moon Kiba Sky Rushes. Just when Aizen was about to kill Hirako Mako, Zanpakuto of Kurosaki Ichigo slashed Aizen and flew out. Let you not be a killer, now the variables are coming. It really deserves it, Chen said with a chuckle. Kurosaki Ichigo is weak, but he is the protagonist. Who knows if there will be any changes with him? It may be impossible for Aizen to kill the Masked Legion. If you want to do it, it's neat and tidy, but now it's dawdling, now it's bad luck. Don't you want Aizen's Bengyu? Don't you want to take action? Yi Yi asked Chen. Don't worry, anyway, Aizen has become the fish on my chopping board now. I'm very confident in my strength. Let's watch the show first. Chen wanted to see if Aizen could evolve further, but with Kurosaki Ichigo's current performance, I'm afraid he is far from being Aizen's opponent. Even if it is open, it may not be able to beat the blue dye. However, at this time, Yamamoto Yuan Lusai Shigekuni also brought a group of captains to the world, and looked at Aizen coldly. Aizen was very calm, he believed in his own strength, and although these guys from the masked army were not dead, they were almost dead. Because they have no fighting power, they can't cause him any trouble. I didn't expect to disturb Captain Yamamoto. Where is Hyuga Chen? Aizen looked around. Aizen really wanted to meet Hyuga Chen, and then let him evolve and transform again through Hyuga Chen's hand. Humph! Sinner Aizen Sosuke. The old man Yamamoto snorted heavily. Captain Yamamoto, don't make a rash move, this is an empty town, and there are many innocent humans. Urahara Kazuki said quickly when he saw that the old man Yamamoto was about to draw his sword. With the strength of the old man Yamamoto, even Shikai can cause the destruction of the city. Ryujin Jaka's attack is too pervert, and a single stroke of hot hell can destroy a city. After the old man Yamamoto glanced at Urahara Kazuki, he gave up his shot. Now that Aizen is staying here, it is indeed a bit difficult to handle. If there is a real fight, it will definitely not be able to take into account the human beings. The old man Yamamoto didn't want to cause too many casualties, because this would affect the balance between the Soul Society, the present world, and the virtual circle. At this time, it was different from the original book. In the original book, the Death God had already prepared, but now Aizen has suddenly appeared, and they have no time to create any enchantment. Unlike old Yamamoto and the others who were worried, Aizen didn't have too many worries. As for using the spiritual power and soul of Kuza Town to create the Wangjian, it doesn't matter. Aizen believes that as long as it evolves to a certain level, even if the Wangjian is not needed, he can kill the Spirit King Palace. Let me set up a barrier for you. Chen suddenly appeared in the center of the field. With one hand on the ground, a huge barrier rose up, isolating the entire Kakuzucho, and had come to another space. Aizen looked around, then looked at Shangchen. Is this the method of our Captain Chen? In silence, pulling us into another dimension is probably no less than God. Aizen's eyes lit up. Chen shrugged, and then said, you can fight to your heart's content without worrying about the impact on the outside world. If you can break this space, I will lose. Aren't you ready to take action? Aizen looked at Chen curiously. Now you don't seem to have the qualifications to let me do it. Chen gave Aizen a disdainful look. At this time, Aizen was very strong, but she still couldn't catch Chen's move. Chen also wanted to know how strong Aizen could rely on Bengyu. With all kinds of magical skills, Chen is not afraid of playing it off, so I can play with Aizen today. Shinra Bansho, all creation. All ashes. Ryujin Jaka. Knowing that this place is already another space and will not cause any impact, the old man Yamamoto used Shikai directly without saying a word. The old man Shikai Yamamoto, everyone stayed away from him. The temperature of the flame on his knife was too high, and the distance was too close for fear of being cooked. Use Zanpakuto at first sight, why is the old man so violent? Jingo Chunshui couldn't help complaining. The people in the soul world are most afraid of Shikai and Benkai of old man Yamamoto, because the attack range is very large, and they are completely indistinguishable between enemy and me, which is very headache. Chapter 737 Aizen fights old man Yamamoto. Burn the city on fire. As soon as the old man Yamamoto made his move, the boundless flames enveloped Aizen, and Aizen's outer Reiatsu shell was cracked under the flames. As expected of Captain Yamamoto, this shot is extraordinary. But if you want to kill me with this, it's still a long way off. Aizen rushed out of the flames in a blink of an eye. After coming out, the blade slashed towards the old man Yamamoto. Humph! I'll let you know today that I am powerful, a mere sinner Aizen Suyusuke. The old man Yamamoto held the sword in both hands, all his strength was concentrated on the sword, and then he slashed towards Aizen Suyusuke. This is a stunt of old man Yamamoto, yes, such a move can already be called a stunt. The swordsmanship in the world of death is very immature, and the moves are all open and close, usually slashing, and there is absolutely no way to speak. Even in all genres of master, Uno Hanaritsu, who is known as the 8000 Ryu, is the same. In terms of swordsmanship, the world of death is far from the world of pirates. However, the people in the world of death are powerful. Although the moves are simple, the explosive power exerted is not comparable to the world of pirates. Boom! The Reiatsu from the collision was rampant, and the leaders of each division quickly retreated. It feels like we are playing Chan Oil. It's completely useless. Jingo Chunshui couldn't help but complain to himself. Aizen, who owns Collapsing Jade, fights with the old man Yamamoto very fast. They can't even see clearly, and they don't dare to shoot rashly. Actually, you are playing Chan Oil. It is estimated that after a while you are not even qualified to play Chan Oil. You will become a drag. Chen stood beside them and said. Why didn't you do it? Are there conflicts between you and Aizen? Jingo Chunshui asked. It's not a contradiction, but Aizen does have what I need. Chen said with a twinkle in his eyes. Collapsing Jade is a good thing. How could not get it? If Chen hadn't already drawn Bengyu by lottery, maybe he couldn't help but take action now. Burning hell. It's not good, old man Shan is going to make a big move. Hurry back, Jingo Chunshui immediately shouted, and at the same time lifted Hirako Mako on the ground. Everyone in the masked army was also brought into this space by Chen. At this time, everyone in the masked army had lost their combat effectiveness and had become a burden. The sky-piercing flame Jinchuriki column flew up, the earth turned into a piece of scorched earth, Aizen was wrapped in flames, and the shell formed by the Reiki had completely shattered, revealing the Aizen inside. At this time, the old man Yamamoto was not sealed Zanpakuto, a strong one, although only using Shikai, but this power also made Aizen hard to resist. As expected of the oldest god of death, This power is really terrifying. He was almost killed. Aizen looked at the old man Yamamoto indifferently. What a strong recovery ability. The old man Yamamoto was also extremely frightened when he watched Aizen's injury repaired at an extremely fast speed, and the repair speed exceeded the super speed regeneration. The blue-dyed Zanpakuto was combined with his right hand, and his body was once again wrapped in milky white physical reiatsu, but his face was already exposed. At this time, Aizen merged with Bengyu again. Bengyu has become a part of Aizen, and its strength has reached the peak of Death and Shu, and it is only one step away to complete the qualitative change. Feeling Aizen's spiritual pressure surged again, old man Yamamoto, Jingle Chunshui and the others couldn't help but change their expressions. What kind of monster is this guy, and why is his strength increasing? Could it be that his strength can continue to increase without limit? Jingleken asked inexplicably. It should be the enhancement that Bengyu brought him. Urahara Kazuki frowned. The most regretful thing he did was to create Bengyu. He didn't know much about Bengyu, at least, Urahara Kazuki didn't know Irangao. Ha 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 ha, Aizen laughed. Don't be too complacent, everything in Vientiane is ashes. Bankai Zenka no Tachi, the old man Yamamoto snorted coldly. After Bankai, the momentum of the old man Yamamoto was even better. The original hot breath became more hot, and the water was losing little by little. I used Zenka no Tachi again, really. Jingle Chunshui gave a wry smile. Captain Hitsugaya, can I trouble you to use Higher Enmaru? Shuru Yukataki looked at Tushiro Hitsugaya. Sit on the frosty sky. Higher Enmaru. After Shikai, there was ice around him, but the ice disappeared in an instant, and his Higher Enmaru couldn't let out a shred of cold air. It's useless, my Higher Enmaru doesn't work at all. Hitsugaya Tushiro shook his head bitterly. Originally, his Higher Enmaru could change the weather, but in such a high temperature, it was useless. Main reason is that Hitsugaya Tushiro is not strong enough to exert the power of Higher Enmaru, so it can only cause this result. The sadness of lack of strength. I don't even have the qualifications to watch the battle. Chen couldn't help but give them a blow. Jingle Chunshui and the others are speechless. Why are your mouths so poisonous? We are really sorry for your lack of strength. Do you want me to send you out? Chen asked them. After the captains looked at it, they shook their heads and told them to leave. They were not at ease. Aizen was a little fierce now, and they were worried about the safety of Yamamoto Motoyanagi. Chen didn't say anything. Since they are willing to stay here and suffer, then they can do whatever they want. In fact, if the old man Yamamoto is not an opponent, it is useless for them to stay here. Can they be able to help the old man Yamamoto with their strength? And old Yamamoto's Zanpakuto has not been sealed, and now after Bankai, Aizen may not be able to beat him. Although the old man Nakayamamoto died suddenly in the original book, he seemed to have died suddenly, and his reputation plummeted. But there is also the reason for Yohabok's sneak attack. If old man Yamamoto is really weak, Yohabok will run over and confront old man Yamamoto. Zenka no Tachi Nan Huohuo 10 trillion Death Cemetery. The old man Yamamoto inserted the knife with extremely high temperature into the ground, and countless charred corpses climbed up and attacked Aizen. And this kind of attacking move, Aizen frowned slightly. Anyone killed by me will be awakened by the high temperature. The old man Yamamoto explained lightly. Although this move looks amazing, in fact, it doesn't work at all. I don't know why old man Yamamoto used this move. Chen shook his head and said. The strength of the awakened skeleton is not high, no matter how strong the person you killed at the beginning. As long as it becomes a skeleton soldier, it is only a small soldier, it is good against ordinary people, and it has no effect on Aizen at all. After Aizen kicked a skeleton, he also understood that these endless skeletons, although they looked powerful, were actually not strong, and they were completely bluffing things. Chapter 738 Aizen that has evolved again. Zenka no Tachi East Rising Sun Blade. The old man Yamamoto shouted, and then slashed towards Aizen. Zenka no Tachi was hidden with endless high temperature, which could wipe out all the substances. The old man Yamamoto, with all his strength, finally showed his edge. Boom! Half of Aizen's body was completely vaporized and could not resist the high temperature of the core of the sun. Do you really want to stay here? I suspect that Aizen hasn't died yet, so you will die first. Chen looked at Jingle Chunchui and the others. This is the reason why Yi didn't follow Chen. Zanpakuto, who faced Old Man Yamamoto, was suffering. Chun Shui, take them away. I'll stay here and watch. Shiro Yukitaki said to Jingle Chun Shui. No, let's stay here together, how could I leave you here? Jingle Chunchui said, wrapping his arms around Shiro Yukitaki's neck. Just say what you say, why do you still move your feet, tisk tisk. Chen's footsteps were 10 degrees away from the two. Forget it, this time I am merciful and help you. Chen took out Zanpakuto Hirenmaru. Sit up on the frosty sky. Hirenmaru, Bankai, Great Yuhi Lotus Hirenmaru, Chen shouted loudly. Hirenmaru comes with an ability, the celestial phenomenon, which can make everything in the sky under its control, and it is also the most powerful ability. After Chen Shikai, snow fell from the sky where Yuhi was originally a fire, and the cold wind blew away the fiery breath. Frost dragons surrounded him, and a pair of ice wings appeared behind Chen. It must be said that Hirenmaru really pulled the wind. In terms of force, it is much stronger than Ryujin Jaka. After Ryujin Jaka Bankai, it is just a simple knife. Although it is unpretentious, it contains the power to destroy the world. And Hirenmaru is not bad either. The cold air released by Chen can completely counteract the heat of Ryujin Jaka. Suddenly I feel cold. Frost formed on Jingle Chunchui's body, feeling that his body was stiff from the cold. This is my Hirenmaru. Hitsugaya Toshiro was the one who was most surprised. But thinking that besides him, he had a good friend who could also use Hirenmaru, Hitsugaya Toshiro's mood suddenly dropped. Because of the rules of the Soul Society, two identical Zanpakuto are not allowed, so in the duel, he defeated his friend Sojiro Kusanagi, who was also executed by secret maneuvering. But this is entirely the reason why they are too weak. For example, they all know that Chen has the same Ryujin Jaka as Old Man Yamamoto, but the Central 46 room does not have any indication. Captain Chen, where did you get so many Zanpakuto? Urahara Kazuki asked curiously. Chen took out too many Zanpakuto, and it was the same as others, I really don't know where it came from. This is a secret. Chen glanced at Kazuki Urahara and said. I can't take it anymore. Jingle Chunchui said that he couldn't bear the cold, and hurriedly walked out of the range of celestial phenomena. The celestial phenomenon is imminent, and the outside is completely ice and fire. It feels that after Chen used Hirenmaru Bankai, they suffered even more. Suffering is suffering, but there is no feeling of dying before, which is not bad, at least there is no need to worry about small life or something. Sinner Aizen Sosuke, this old man will definitely take you down today and imprison you in the endless hell. The old man Yamamoto roared. I don't think you want to imprison him until the end, you want to hack him to death. Chen complained while looking at the old man Yamamoto's posture. Aizen's body was cut in half and recovered again. If Aizen's body recovery ability had not been improved to the level of pervert, Aizen would have been hacked to death now. Broken down 99.5 dragons destroyed. Aizen unleashed an ultra-high level break, higher than the one-knife cremation, but in terms of power, it was really not much higher than the one-knife cremation. HMPH. Little devil, this attack is ineffective against me. The old man Yamamoto snorted coldly, and cut off the dragon-shaped spiritual power with one knife. The ultra-high temperature of the core of the sun can wipe out everything, even spiritual power. It's really tricky, Aizen couldn't help saying. As expected to be called the oldest and strongest god of death, Aizen feels that his current strength is still not the opponent of Old Man Yamamoto. In the original book, Aizen was overcasting the Old Man Yamamoto, so he got the Old Man Yamamoto, and Yuhabok didn't want to confront the Old Man Yamamoto. This shows the strength of the Old Man Yamamoto. Now that the strength has exploded, the Old Man Yamamoto is in the air every second. Now Aizen's third fusion state, the strength to reach the peak of death, is still not the opponent of Old Man Yamamoto. The main reason is that Old Man Yamamoto's attack power is too strong, and his defense power is also detached, so Aizen doesn't dare to approach Old Man Yamamoto at all. The waning sun prison clothes are draped over his body, like a demon coming out of the flames. The Old Man Yamamoto who uses Benkai without any scruples is really powerful. Aizen, turn this old man into ashes. The Old Man Yamamoto's eyes became serious. Zenka no Tachi North Ashes of Heaven and Earth. This is the ultimate big move of Old Man Yamamoto, just like the name, it turns the world into ashes. With the extremely fast sword gang, Aizen couldn't avoid it at all, and the Aizen that was hit was wiped out in an instant. HMPH. You don't see enough. Old Man Yamamoto lifted Benkai off. However, Old Man Yamamoto underestimated Aizen, or he underestimated Benyu, and Aizen with Benyu would not hang up so easily. In 060 Despair, Aizen evolved again and entered the fourth fusion state with Benyu. This state of Aizen, a gap similar to an eye appeared on his forehead, a butterfly wing appeared behind him, a hole inlaid with collapsing jade appeared on his chest, and his right hand was completely integrated with Zanpakuto. At this time, Aizen is slowly transforming into a non-human being. If the second fusion state is a pupa, and the fourth fusion state is a butterfly emerging from the cocoon. He's not dead yet, he's reborn again. The joy on Jingle Chunchui's face disappeared shortly after. Aizen has become stronger again. It seems that we have to find a way to help. We must snatch back the Benyu, otherwise we will never be able to defeat Aizen. Urahara Kazuki said. The Old Man Yamamoto also became serious, and the current Aizen made him feel the threat of death. I would also like to thank Captain Yamamoto. Without the help of Captain Yamamoto, I would not be in this state. Aizen said with a big smile. Aizen felt that he had surpassed the dimension of death, and even if he fought with Old Man Yamamoto again, he was sure to win. Don't get too complacent. The Old Man Yamamoto looked at Aizen coldly, then Benkai again. Zenka no Tachi aimed at Aizen. The only people who can deal with Aizen now are Old Man Yamamoto and Chen. The protagonist of Kurosaki Ichigo cannot be counted on now, because of the changes in the plot. Kurosaki Ichigo has not been able to grow up at all. Chapter 739 Chen is going to shoot. The turbid coat of arms is faintly revealed, and the unruly and arrogant talent, the tide, the negation, the paralysis, the momentary, hinders the long sleep. The crawling iron princess, the clay doll that constantly self-mutilates, combines, rebounds, and extends to the ground. Akatsuki's own powerlessness. Destruction 90 Black Coffin. The black coffin that Aizen completely chanted wrapped the Old Man Yamamoto in. After the sword rain, the black cube disappeared, and the Old Man Yamamoto was covered in flames, and there were knife marks on his body. Although Aizen after evolving again is powerful, it is not realistic to want to bring down Old Man Yamamoto with one move. Zenka no Tachi North Ashes of Heaven and Earth. Aizen looked at the knife gang that came over and smiled disdainfully, and then his body suddenly turned into light, avoiding the Old Man Yamamoto's knife gang. Although this terrifying sword can also turn the world into ashes, if it can't hit anyone, it's also useless. Captain Yamamoto, you can't do it now. I have transcended the dimension of death, and you are no longer worthy of being my opponent. Boy, you are so naive, do you really think you can beat this old man now? Old Man Yamamoto revealed a cold light in his eyes. Captain Yamamoto, although you are very strong, it is undeniable that you are old. How long can you last? Aizen said jokingly at the Old Man Yamamoto. That's right, although the current Old Man Yamamoto is powerful, he can't keep up with his physical strength. Continue to beat old Yamamoto, you may not be able to keep Benkai. Ryujin Jaka is such a powerful Zanpakuto, and the consumption is also first class. HMPH. It's okay for this old man to kill you. The Old Man Yamamoto said stubbornly. As the saying goes, if you lose, you don't lose. It's the Old Man Yamamoto. Even if he really can't beat him, he won't say it, and he will fight hard. Sunblade. The old man Yamamoto slashed towards Aizen with a knife. Even Aizen's million shields couldn't stop the old man Yamamoto's blade, he could only avoid its edge. In terms of attack power, old man Yamamoto never looked down on anyone. Maybe Aizen at this time was stronger than old man Yamamoto, but he did not dare to accept old man Yamamoto's attack. If it goes on like this, the first person who can't hold on is definitely old man Yamamoto, Chen said while looking at this scene. At this time, old man Yamamoto was out of breath, and he had not fought for many years, so that old man Yamamoto's fighting power was not as strong as it used to be. In the face of Aizen, he is gradually at a disadvantage, and is about to lose. What should I do now? Jingle Chunshui was very anxious and looked at Chen. At this time, there is only Chen, and with them together, it is estimated that even Kakuzu, who is blue-dyed, will not be able to touch. The power of Aizen at this time is indescribable, and it has surpassed the dimension of death. Even the old man Yamamoto is also relying on the power of Zanpakuto to resist Aizen. Captain Chen, now it's up to you to help, and I also ask Captain Chen to help. Shiro Yukitaki pleaded with Chen. Okay, after all, I'm also the captain of Gotei 13, but it's not good to look at it like this. Chen took out the Zanpakuto spear. Shoot him, God-killing gun. Aizen, who was dodging the attack of the old man Yamamoto, suddenly had a hole in his body and looked at Chen. Aizen can feel that the toxin is decomposing his cells, but Aizen's current resilience is very strong, and the speed of decomposition is not as fast as his recovery. Even so, it caused a lot of trouble for Aizen, and Aizen was cut by the old man Yamamoto. A knife directly smeared half of Aizen's body to ashes, causing Aizen to be severely injured. It's useless, now I'm immortal, I'm invincible. Aizen's body recovered. Really? Chen looked at Aizen with disdain, and actually said that he was invincible. Chen knows that Aizen is very strong now, but he is still 108,000 miles away from the word invincible. You don't believe it? If you don't believe it, come and try it. Aizen stared at Chen tightly. Sorry, I really don't believe it. The god-killing spear instantly stabbed dozens of holes in Aizen's body, causing Aizen's body to be beaten like a hornet's nest. This kind of injury, for me, can only be resurrected in a moment, but you are much stronger than Ichimaru Silver with your magic spear. Aizen gave Chen a deep look. I originally thought that Ichimaru Silver's god-killing gun was fast enough, but Aizen didn't even see the shadow clearly when he encountered the faster one. Old man Yamamoto, you are already old, you should step back. Leave Aizen to me. Chen walked towards Aizen. The old man Yamamoto frowned, and when he heard Chen say that he was old, the old man Yamamoto was a little unhappy. I don't need your intervention, the old man can't solve a mere kid. The old man Yamamoto said stubbornly. The biggest shortcoming of old man Yamamoto is that he is too stubborn. To put it bluntly, it is for face, and old man Yamamoto takes face very seriously. Old man Shan, don't hold on, we can all see that you're not good enough. Jingle Chunshui shouted sternly. After Jingle Chunshui shouted, he saw the indifferent eyes of the old man Yamamoto, and he was afraid to speak. Captain Yamamoto, as the captain, naturally doesn't need a little Aizen from the other side, Urahara Kazuki said. The old man Yamamoto glanced at Urahara Kazuki, and then at Hyuga Tatsu, released Bankai, and then stepped aside. Give a step and come down. Otherwise, after being defeated by Aizen for a while, it will be even more ugly. Old man Yamamoto still knows this. Captain Hyuga, I've wanted to fight you for a long time. Aizen looked at Chen deeply. For Chen, Lan Ran has already accumulated a lot of hatred in her heart. The scene of being stepped on by Chen at the beginning is still vivid in her mind. Really, I don't know if it's my honor, Chen said with a chuckle. Actually, I'm very interested in your Bengyu. If you can offer the Bengyu, and then kneel down and beg for mercy, I may spare your life. When Lan Ran heard Chen mention Bengyu, she suddenly realized that it was for Bengyu. It seems that Hyuga Chen is also greedy for collapse jade. However, Aizen was also pissed off by Chen, and offered Benyu and knelt down to beg for mercy, then it would be better to kill him. There was anger in Lan Ran's heart, and without saying a word, he hit Chen at the fastest speed. Hey, it seems that you chose to die, so I can only respect your choice, I just hope you don't regret it. Chen chuckled and blocked Aizen's attack with one hand. Aizen's eyes flickered, and his fist was actually understated by Chen and kept pointing, so that Aizen couldn't figure out the reality of Chen. I was originally interested in your state, but now I think you are still too weak, kicking at the speed of light. Boom. Aizen's abdomen was pierced by a kick, and his body fell from the sky like a rag doll, and the ground cracked several huge cracks. Chapter 740 Beat Aizen Soyusuke. Aizen fell to the ground without the slightest movement. Jingle Chunshui and the others were stunned. Aizen looks so awesome, how could he be kicked over by one kick, shouldn't he be kicked to death? Seeing that Aizen didn't move for so long, Jingle Chunshui thought that Aizen had been kicked to death at this time. The most shocking is Yamamoto Motoyanagi, Yamamoto Motoryu Saijokuni, who played against Aizen, is very aware of Aizen's strength. If it weren't for the protective ability of the sun-shattering prison clothes, he would have been defeated by Aizen. Aizen's speed and strength have transcended the dimension of death and have reached a new level. Although he is reluctant to admit it, Old Man Yamamoto knows that if it wasn't for Bankai, he would not be able to fight Aizen at all. Cough cough tilde. As expected of the person I am most vigilant against, the strength is really strong. I really don't know how you got so strong. Aizen couldn't help saying. Although his strength increased rapidly, everything depended on Benyu, and in order to get Benyu, he planned for an unknown amount of time. Hyuga-chan gets such a powerful power after a lot of hard work. Actually stronger than him. However, Aizen didn't know that Chen also had Benyu, and after swallowing Benyu 273, the effect was better than the continuous fusion of Aizen. Moreover, Chen has been in the Hokage world and the pirate world for many years, and there is a reason why his strength is stronger than that of him who has worked so hard. He's not dead yet, he won't continue to evolve and transform, right? Hitsugaya Toshiro said. I don't know, but I'm curious about Hyuga-chan's strength. Urahara Kazuki said. He has always been known to be strong, but no one has ever seen him show his true strength. Old Man Chan, you should be very aware of his strength. After all, you two have fought against each other before. Jingle Chunshui looked at Yamamoto Yuan Luzai Chonguo. Don't inquire so much. The old man Yamamoto glanced at Jingle Chunshui, then stared straight ahead. Che, shouldn't you be embarrassed to say it? Jingle Chunshui pouted secretly. Shuru Yukataki pulled behind Jingle Chunshui. Didn't he see Mr. Genryu Seo getting angry? How dare you continue to die? Seemingly feeling the fierce aura coming from the old man Yamamoto, Jingle Chunshui shut his mouth wisely. Old man Yamamoto loves face, so he has to save some face for him, otherwise, after old man Yamamoto is angry, he will not feel better. Although he is old man Yamamoto's lover, but when old man Yamamoto is angry, he will never save face for him. Boom. Aizen was blasted into the ground again, and the broken body lay in the pothole, but the body was quickly repairing. Aizen, your subtle tricks don't seem to work for me, Chen said lightly. Don't get too complacent. The 90, breaking black coffin. Aizen did not sing, because he knew that Chen would not give him a chance to sing, so he directly abandoned the chanting and released the black coffin with only 1/3 of its power. Kacha tilde. The black coffin shattered in an instant, and Chen walked out step by step, looking at Aizen indifferently. You should know that this useless attack has no effect on me. Ha tilde. Don't be too happy too soon. Aizen's body turned into a light and appeared in front of Chen in an instant. There was no difference between speed and teleportation. He turned sideways to avoid Aizen's fist, and then his right hand quickly stuck out, grabbed directly on Aizen's neck, and lifted him up. Your speed is still too slow in my eyes. Chen Yi threw him to the sky with a wave of his hand. Then a powerful spiritual power was gathered in his hand, and a beam of light Jinchuriki column bombarded Aizen's body. Aizen's body was bombarded with a large hole, and the sky was bombarded with dark cracks. It's really weak. Chen looked at Aizen mockingly. At this time, Aizen felt a sense of powerlessness. He was eager for Benyu to give him stronger power. But I don't know if it was because of his lack of desire, Benyu didn't give him the slightest response. I really didn't expect that Aizen, who was so powerful just now, is now being beaten and crushed. Suddenly, Aizen feels a little weak. Sure enough, Hyuga Chen is the strongest, I really want to challenge him again. Zaragi Kenpachi grinned. This guy is the most afraid of death. If it wasn't for Hitsugaya Toshiro and Kuchiki Byakuya pressing him, Zakagi Kenpachi would have rushed up to cut Aizen. Super Spirit Pressure Wall. An invisible barrier appeared in front of Aizen to resist the attack. Anything that hit the barrier would be shattered. Boom. The golden light Jinchuriki column shattered the Reiki wall and hit Aizen's body. Chen's fist was shrouded in white air pressure, and the surrounding space was split open, and then his fist waved towards Aizen. The super destructive power of the Junjun fruit burst out, and the space was broken apart by pieces, and there were cracks all over Aizen's body, and the body was like a broken porcelain doll. You're quite resistant to fighting, Chen said, looking at Aizen who was beaten up. Aizen's body quickly repaired, her eyes turned bloody, and she stared at Chen tightly. Benyu, give me strength. You scream. You said that I would give you strength, but you won't be able to give you strength. Your face is not that great. Chen punched Aizen's head, causing Aizen to be stunned. Collapsing jade is really powerful, and it can protect Aizen's body from death and immortality, which is why Aizen has not died. He suffered so many attacks and did not die, all of which depended on the power that Benyu brought him. Aizen wants to become stronger now, wants to break the current realm, and evolve to a new realm, which is not so easy. If you want to realize this wish, you must first have the ability to realize this wish. Only in this way, Benyu can help Aizen evolve. In fact, the collapsed jade produced by Aizen is somewhat different from the collapsed jade obtained by Chen's lottery. Aizen fell to the ground, blood spurted from his mouth, and a white spiritual pressure overflowed from his body. The power of this spiritual pressure was a bit terrifying. The golden wheel is reborn. The golden lightsaber slashed towards Aizen, and Aizen and everything in this space were split in half. The threat of death, coupled with the desire in his heart, Benyu once again let Aizen evolve. Aizen was completely wrapped in Reiki, and then began to transform. It must be evolving again. It will evolve again and again. In the end, it will definitely develop to the level that no one can match. I don't know if there is a way to seal the Benyu, otherwise it will be endless. Kuchiki Byakuya looked at Urahara Kazuki. They already knew that things like collapsing jade were invented and manufactured by Urahara Kazuki, and naturally they had to let him solve it. It's not impossible if you want to seal it, but you need someone who can defeat Aizen to cooperate. Do you think he will cooperate with me? Urahara Kazuki looked at Chen standing in the sky with a wry smile.